Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's been the difference for me this camp, going up against them, getting to sharpen my edges, sharpen my tools every day, every single day. You know, I'll get the best of them, they get the best of me. I believe Rocco said it the other day, but it's kind of our motto: iron sharpens iron. And
for me, it's been very smooth. I say, coming from like the FCS program I did come from, we had a very high level organization, very high level players that ended up making it to the NFL. So transition from there to coming here has been smooth.
Some of the first year guys are starting to make me feel like they're in their third year, if that makes sense. They're picking up on everything fast and learning the playbook fast. That way we're able to play fast and make plays.
I definitely think we're heading in that direction. We with having the time that we have nowadays over the summer to spend a few hours with the guys throughout the weeks, I think that has definitely helped, and it's allowed our guys to kind of pick up where we left off this spring. And now we're kind of getting into, we started real elementary, but now we're getting into the middle school and trying to get into the high school stuff right now as well.
What the outside says about any of us really doesn't have an impact on what we're doing. What has an impact on what we're doing is what we're doing here every single day, about our execution, our physicality, our techniques, our ability to finish plays, and our ability to develop players and get them to believe.
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, DB?
Man, how we doing?
We're doing all right. How are you?
I'm here.
We're out here?
I'm here.
We're out here, right?
Yeah. That's a start, man. Put one foot in front of the other and keep it moving.
It's a nice looking swing shirt you got there.
Oh, thank you, man. I like this.
Little batting cage shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things are nice.
Feeling a little motivated this morning. I missed my first parents meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, since I can remember, 20 years.
Yeah. So
once I got past that,
yeah,
that was cool.
A little mental hurdle.
Yeah, the heck with what the prognosticators and, to heck with what the results are. I needed to be at that parent meeting. So outside of that, we're cool. I don't love my voice, but I didn't talk for a long time. So
yeah,
I got to get that thing back going.
Yeah, it's a little struggle bus. It's all right.
Cool, man. Watched. I was trying to get you guys early to get on the NBA.
I know I missed
TV yesterday.
I missed the Neek Jordan.
So you could see your boy in the dunk contest. Yeah. And your favorite era of basketball, which is the 80s. Because I know you love to hate.
I'll take the 80s over the 90s.
Stylistically. Probably not a hot take.
Stylistically.
I would. One of the, what a classic game was? Is 87. It was 88-87. Vince Carter hit a game winner. Raptors at Pacers. No, Pacers at Toronto. 87-88. Game winner from VC.
Mm-hmm.
Game winner.
Mm-hmm.
88-87.
And that's not even a particularly bad score
98.
from that era.
I think it was 99.
Yeah, that's not even a particularly bad score from that era.
It was a pretty bad score.
I know, but you're literally talking about finals games that are in 76-67.
Yeah, so
that's pretty rough.
I'm not at all surprised, man. I'm excited because
I did catch my guy Larry Bird right after, though. He was at 88 Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah,
right
so
that.
You couldn't hear because you probably actually doing something constructive like working, but in the Pistons Celtics game, it was Isaiah and Kevin McHale narrating.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they were doing a commentary
of the game that had already been played.
Almost.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Of 88, and it was just weird to hear two guys with very similar, grumpy,
a little curmudgeon-y
temperaments.
Yeah.
I was like, shoot, we need more of that.
I do. That's a cool idea. I would watch that.
Yeah, they did the Lakers. Obviously, the night before was a debacle. So they did. I watched the Lakers and Celtics from 85 or 86. The Lakers won in Game 6, and they actually had Kareem.
Oh, nice.
I was like, shoot, okay.
Kareem doesn't do a lot of that kind of stuff.
So he's gotten so much better over the last 10, 12 years, man. He used to be
inaccessible.
Poopy.
Yeah.
But I get it. I wouldn't say historian. Because how people say, oh, this kills me. You hear this a lot, especially with all the new voices and new faces in media, because obviously the landscape of media is changing. And we hear people say historically, and they're talking about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, that's not historically.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wouldn't call myself a Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar historian, but I do know a lot about him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember going down the archives of some things, and I kind of know what started it. He already was super shy because he's a big gangly kid growing up, and we see that with a lot of either angular folks or folks that are heavy set, right? They
a little shy.
They revert to other things, either shutting down or comedic value.
Yeah,
whatever,
which usually
right?
extreme one way or the other.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Either super
You're
self-deprecating,
either like
or
Chris
they don't
Farley,
say, or they don't say anything,
or you don't say. Yeah.
And I just remember him doing an interview on CBS. It wasn't 60 Minutes. But it was CBS. And the reporter was just talking about him. He had just come back from Africa, and he asked him if he felt more comfortable being in Africa with people that looked more like him. In a nationally televised interview. And he's just coming into Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's not from Lulla Center. And I'm like, yeah, I'd probably shut it down with the media too.
Yeah, be like, I'm good here.
Yeah, so I'm fascinated by his growth because he has become much more accessible and open. And you know me, I always like a good comeback story.
Yeah, he's one of the more interesting characters, I think, in sports history.
Yeah. So I spent like the last surprisingly more sports than you'd think. I didn't watch any real bad television.
Yeah? No movies?
No. I started one.
Yeah.
It was The Curse of Babysitting and Monster Hunting.
Oh my God. What are we doing, man?
I came by.
That's the actual title?
I came by it on accident. Zoe must have been watching.
You could have kept going on accident,
no,
too.
I think Ryder must have been watching it on Netflix, but she didn't click off of Dad. You know, because she has her own.
Yeah.
And so it said continue watching for Dad. And I was like, huh? I know I wasn't hallucinating. So I gave it probably 20, 22 minutes. That was it, though.
That was it?
You'd have been proud.
The Curse of Babysitting and what?
Monster Hunting. Netflix. I don't know, man. I come by it honestly.
If I would have, honestly, you see the title, you just keep on pushing, man.
Yeah, so I went through a lot of, obviously.
Well, that's okay though. I mean, you got to know what your kids are watching. So.
I did think of you, Shane. Why did I think of you? Was it worth a text? Was I gonna text?
Must not have been.
No, I'm dead serious. Like what? I can't. It was. Your boy died. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see that Alfie Wise died? The dude that was like Burt Reynolds' right-hand man, and you always talk about Burt Reynolds, so I figured you know these movies. But he was in like Cannonball Run and Smoker Ace. Like his right-hand man. Alfie Wise.
Dom DeLuise?
Nope.
I don't know why he just didn't understand that I said Alfie Wise.
Nope.
It may take me a couple minutes to get back acclimated into my sense of humor.
Dom DeLuise was the right-hand man in Cannonball Run.
Alfie Wise is the dude's name. Do you know? Google Alfie Wise, Shane. Slow motion is better than no motion, and it's a good thing we're both back.
He was in Smokey and the Bandit. He was in Cannonball Run, along with 8 other films with Burt Reynolds. I would call that a right-hand man. That's 10 movies with one guy. That's a lot of movies.
Yeah. This is horrible, by the way. Ooh.
The Gatorade?
Yeah, it's 0, and I use charcoal toothpaste. And for whatever the reason, I hate Blisterine. Well, Listerine. When people hit balls hard, and sometimes I'll say Blisterine. But this is with charcoal toothpaste.
Honestly,
and for whatever the reason, man, I dabbled in purple Listerine this morning.
Oof. I can't drink anything after I brush my teeth. I have to eat something first.
Yeah. It's
rough.
It's not good. We'll be all right, though. You seem very hurt right now.
Oh, no, I'm not hurt right now.
Kind of getting back, so even driving over, I was like, do I really want to do this? Because I'm a little sluggish.
Yeah. No, I get you.
But, no, man, it's starting to come to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure I'll say something inappropriate.
No, numbnuts did.
You're right into it.
Alfie Wise. Dom DeLuise. I'm like, oh, I'm back. You know what I mean? So much for me thinking of you. I take all that back. No. How was AJ yesterday?
He was the other police officer then.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know if he's really the right-hand man.
All right, man. Okay, fine.
He's in 10 movies with him, Shane.
So there's a lot of people that have been in 10 movies.
Not with the same guy. God.
Well,
Never mind.
God bless you.
But
Shane.
thank you for thinking of me.
No, man, you're out.
Austin was good. Austin was good.
I did think of you one other time too this morning. You know what they were talking about on what's the show I like? Kenny and Carlin?
Oh no, unsportsmanlike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did they say with Kenny and Carlin or is it just unsportsmanlike?
I have no idea.
I don't either. I get them all confused.
I know those are
especially
people
with
in
all
it.
the media stuff changing.
Yeah.
Shane, it was go-to lunch meats.
Nice. What was the go-to lunch meat?
Man, I'm shocked. There's a lot of Northeastern folks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because Bristol.
But, I mean, just like in general, like geographically where they grew up.
Oh, sure.
And I was
What is
they got into some great debates about roast beef and cold roast beef versus warm roast beef. I am a roast beef guy. I like roast beef is in the top 3-4 rotation.
I don't like cold roast beef.
So that's what they were on.
I don't like cold roast beef.
I didn't know that was a thing.
So
And I get it with Michelle because stereotypically, and I'm saying that stereotypically, a lot of women don't like cold beef
okay.
in general. But then she was like, oh, warm roast beef on a baguette with the French dip and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
So I didn't realize it was a thing until you just said it. Because when I think of roast beef, I think cold and I don't like it. But then when you were making that distinction, I was like, oh, I do like hot roast beef.
So I don't like warm meat typically on a sandwich.
See, I prefer hot sandwiches.
So I'm knocking it off regardless.
Yeah.
But I did see on my algorithm a guy, and I might have to try this hack. Now, it's too much meat. But apparently, Coach Secor would know this because he's really good at finding like fast food places where you can just get the protein for good prices.
Yeah.
My man he does fast food hacks for carnivore guys. And which, by the way, we'll see if I'm paying the price for that or not. I don't think so. A lot of leading questions were asked about my diet.
I mean, maybe. Maybe.
Man, bet on your boy.
Listen.
I've done a lot of research. Bet on your boy.
No,
you may get that phone call and be like, hey, you know what? You guys switch that.
It did cross my mind. It did cross my mind.
So anyway, did it?
When you were having the problems, I was like, yeah.
I take milk thistle.
Yeah, I mean, that's
processing absorption rate.
Probably not gonna.
We're good, man. So anyway, he was at Arby's.
Okay.
He got the classic roast beef on pita.
Oh.
Triple the meat.
Okay.
It was 64 grams of protein. What do you think he paid? What would you pay for 64 grams of protein?
I mean, so when I was saying hot roast beef, I'll be honest, I was thinking Arby's. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to get roasted.
Are you out on Arby's?
No, I like Arby's.
See, I think Arby's is one. I think Arby's
people kind of hate on it.
I think it's the anti In-N-Out.
People say they don't like it, but they do.
No, it's trendy to like In-N-Out, even though like if that's your state's best burger, like
you got problems.
California's a pretty big state. Like
you got problems.
You're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Conversely, I think it's popular to hate on Arby's, even though Arby's meats in general is pretty legit.
I've always been a big Arby's fan, like since I was a kid.
What do you think it cracked him for?
I would guess $7.50.
Yeah, $8.50.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would smash.
That's not bad.
For 64 grams of protein for
solid.
$8.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they're not doing the pulled pork and the brisket, by the way, anymore.
No, but you know what so you'll get a kick out of this. Guess what I was doing? Like, I'm gonna get this out.
Okay.
Because this is really, really frustrating. I said this to my doc, and he did not find it extremely funny.
Okay.
And I told my anesthesiologist, I said, hey, the other anesthesiologists I know, because I know 3 really, 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 really well. 2 obviously I played with. I said, they tell jokes. Why are you so businessy?
You hit him with the Joker. Why so serious?
I was just looking to break the ice.
Yeah.
I mean, my man came in with facts. He wanted to put a bite thing in my mouth. I was like, man, come on, dude. He's like, open your mouth. Anything that can come out. I was like, oh, I got veneers. Does that count? So I'm trying, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying. Yeah. You know me, glass stays half full. My guy goes, yeah. Pause. Most of the jokes I want to tell, they're inappropriate. So I keep them to myself. And I laughed. And I go, was that a joke? And he goes, no.
I was gonna say no. It's still funny though.
I'm being honest. I was like, well, that was funny.
Just because it's not a joke doesn't mean it's not funny.
But so I'm like, I would not for $8, but Shano, I saw this deal because I was Googling. It's 2025. I told you this.
Okay.
You said, hey man, how you doing?
Yeah.
I said, this might be the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2025.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
2025. We do a lot of things.
A lot of things.
We got people found in forests hiding in bunkers with infrared. It's dark out, right?
25.
You can see through the dirt. We're hitting 50-yard targets with missiles.
Mm-hmm.
Pinpoint accuracy in the dark.
Yep.
We have infrared.
Mm-hmm.
The best way you can see through somebody's skin is to have them water their brains out for 14 hours? There has to be a better way. It is the dumbest prep process I have ever seen in 2025.
That thing wet.
So is the prep process bothered you more than anything?
It's
because you're asleep for the rest of it, right?
It's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I get it. There's people that have been through it. It's unnecessary. There has to be a better way.
You would.
I mean, don't you have like a giant vacuum? Like, can't you just be like, what?
20, 25.
Okay.
I'm sorry. The vacuum was just funny. It was the noise. It was funny. We got me with the.
Like, what are we doing? So what it caused me to do, because I was hangry.
Yeah.
At because I know enough people that have been through the process where I stopped eating on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Like all I had was rice.
Yeah, because we had this conversation of like, should you eat before?
Yeah, I
chilled.
Before? So I chilled Sunday and didn't. It was on point because I was not going to be the dude that they were like, because they sent people home.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, no, not doing that.
So I'm terrified.
Yeah, you're like, no, we're getting this right.
In the morning, it's like middle of the night. I'm like, they're not sending. I'm like, no, I mean, not a morsel. So I'm Googling places that I want to go eat the night before.
Yeah,
I'm looking at buffets. I'm like, I know I'm gonna have to probably go by myself. I don't care. Like, nobody's rocking with me at like Golden Corral or.
I'll go hang out with your Golden Corral.
International. No, I mean, your boy was like looking at why'd I settle on Casey's breakfast pizza though?
Oh, come on, man. You better than that. And listen, I like Casey's breakfast pizza. I'm not mad at it.
Didn't eat as much as I wanted to either.
But that probably wouldn't have been my go-to. That's a miss.
Panic.
Yeah.
Like, so
don't matter to me.
So disappointed in myself. Of all the options. Listen, I was looking at Indian buffet.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't do Indian buffets.
You don't really do Indian?
No, but if I'm going to do Indian, I'm not doing a buffet.
There's some quality spots.
Yeah, I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing that. It's not what I'm about.
You don't trust your folks?
No, I just I want to know. Here's the thing. There's too many.
I don't mess with the African markets either, so I don't blame you.
There's too many variations.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of India, you want to hear something funny?
Is it?
I think you'll appreciate this.
Okay.
So I've been looking for a tennis ball machine so I can practice on my own more. And so I was on.
Who was talking about you on IG? Are you posting tennis clips?
Oh, just a picture. I didn't post a clip.
Dang, man. I need to get with IG. Is it sweet? I mean, do you look good?
I mean, the form's getting there.
Ravi Alcaraz?
Looking pretty good. Not quite there yet. He's a little faster than I am.
He said not quite. Are you nice?
I mean, I'm getting better.
Okay.
I'm working on it, I take my hobby seriously. So
shoot, I need one.
Yeah. That's the thing, is it's something I can pour my attention into and get better at. Because that was the thing I really missed when I had to stop lifting, is there was measurable progress that I could achieve.
For some reason, we were making sidebar conversation yesterday. And I bet you the number one takeaway from the place is this dude with numbers is a weirdo.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I don't know why. I just got on a roll with things that just randomly. He gave it pause. He's like, how'd you know that My dad got certified in 72.
Yeah.
Surgeon General. Really? Like, I don't know. I just wanted to know what I was dealing with.
Yeah, so you start like looking stuff up and figuring stuff out, and I
Yeah.
get that. No.
Yeah, he's probably not having me back ever.
But yeah, so I was buying this. I was looking at this tennis ball machine, and so I'm like on Facebook Marketplace. I was like, hey, let's.
Does it have what's it look like? Does it shoot balls? Does it
Yeah,
got an
so it's like
arm?
two spinny wheels and it like shoots them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have like the fling arm like the old school pitching machines. It's like a box, and then it's got two wheels that like pop the ball out between the two of them.
How many balls does it hold?
150.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Huh. Okay.
And so I'm like communicating with this guy or whatever. And
is it on the market?
Yeah, on the Facebook Marketplace. And so like we're messaging back and forth. I was like, all right, I'll meet you at this high school so I can see it works at the tennis courts, and then we'll figure it out from there. And
what high school was it?
Well, we were going to go to Millard West, but those tennis courts are always busy. So we ended up at Millard South, and we found some open courts. But I could tell
playing too much football at Millard South. They ain't messing around with them tennis courts.
They were out on the practice field.
Mercy me, I can only imagine.
But so I could tell by the name of the person I'm dealing with that they're Indian, right? And so I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
Oh, isn't that special?
Yeah, just try and keep it in the family.
What was it like?
Don't do it. But here's the best part, right? So I show up, the guy's there, and I
certainly was going to piss you off right there.
Well, it's okay. I'm probably going to feed right into what there's a lot of stereotypes in this story I'm about to tell.
You seem very.
So I think he had Googled me to make sure I wasn't like a crazy person or whatever. And so he's like, oh, I saw you do like a sports show or whatever. And I was like, yeah. And then, and so I'm like, okay, what do you do? And he goes, well, stereotypical. I'm an IT guy. And I go, I was like, that's cool. My dad's in IT. And he's like, oh, yeah, what's his name? I go,
did you give him the real one?
I gave him his Americanized name. I go, although knowing where they know each other from now, I should have given him the real name. But I go, it's Andy Lulla. And he goes, I know Andy. And I was like, of course you do.
Well, does he cook for him at the temple?
He does cook for him at the temple. He's like, I'll see him in 2 days at that temple.
Hey, Shay, guess what? Your boy is back. Let's go.
I was like, man, you got me. And then, of course, not only do they go to temple together, back in the day, they were both working in IT in the First National Tower together, too.
Incredible.
I was like, there's a billion Indians, and my
was
dad
the machine any good?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, I bought it.
Really?
Yeah.
Shoot, all the food your dad whips up, he should have just given it to you. He wasn't rocking with it.
He gave me a little discount,
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I was like, this is the most stereotypical Indian meeting I've ever had in my life.
My people don't do that for me.
You would not believe how many Indian kids
get
play
charged
tennis.
for the briquettes, the grill, the smoker, the meat, all of it.
Yeah.
The foil disposable pans. What else would my people swap?
So like when I ask if you know somebody that happens to be black, it's because every Indian person apparently knows every other Indian person.
I think there's more of us than there are of you, though.
Not in the world.
Well, I mean, we're only talking about. I mean, we're out here, right?
Locally, maybe. I don't know. There's a big Indian population in Omaha.
Is it?
Yeah.
I need to get out more. Actually, I don't.
I'll say you don't want to get out more.
No,
there's like worldwide. I mean, we're looking like 1.5 billion Indian people.
I'm in I'll be in Lincoln today.
Oh yeah? What are we doing in Lincoln today?
We got a meeting, and then I have a follow-up, and then I have back-to-back meetings at the high school.
Oof, it's a long day.
Unfortunately, I slept like fecal matter too. So,
dude, so did I. I slept terrible.
I didn't turn the TV on though. Shout out me.
Yeah, just chilled.
Baby steps.
Just tried to see.
I did go through. I went AP top 25. I went through dark horses. I hopped on a live on X with Pick Six previews.
Yeah.
He was with 3 other degenerates. They were talking.
Dude, that's our guy. We're gonna start having him on every week.
Yeah, Brett Sjuts.
Yeah.
He was on with 3 other degenerates, and they were previewing week 1 and 2, over-unders on season team win totals. I mean, these dudes are doing some terrifically deep dives.
Really?
I mean, Scienza is a monster.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just got his preview. I'm
There's
working my way through it.
another guy that I really, really, really like. He hasn't quite blown up yet, but I subscribe. Who I think is really smart.
Okay.
I would have him on, but I don't know how to ask how to say his name. He's currently in a battle right now, and Phil isn't giving him the time of day. But he's currently not happy with Phil Steele because he feels like his predictions and his forecasting was misrepresented. He says Phil is taking him all the way back to 1995 in terms of his prediction percentage. And my man is saying that he would have only been 14. He didn't start really doing college football predictions until 2010.
After he was 14.
So he's so I'm vibing with him. But somebody turned me on to him. Like,
who is it?
So I can't say it's it's either M-I-C. There's a lot of I's, E's, and L's. Maselli?
Okay.
McKelly Sports? No, you have to do it on Twitter.
Okay.
It's easier. But really, really thorough. Like, and if you go to me, I think I like something that he put up
all right, I'll see if I can
a couple days ago.
We'll see what we can do here.
But you need to check him out. He's pretty good.
Do you follow him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I follow him. I probably reposted it.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
I had to get under 1,000
followers or follows.
Yeah, so a couple people were in a Gots to Go situation last night.
Yeah, didn't make the cut.
Nope. Here it is.
Oh, I found it.
Listen, that guy is it's Mick, ILLECE Sports. Michaelis?
Micheleche?
I don't want to go all fancy.
I have no idea.
I mean, he's kind of analytics heavy.
Yeah.
But it's legit. It's legit.
Okay. I might have to give him a little follow. See what we do here.
I want to talk to him, but number one, I don't know what to call him.
Well, that's what we have Shane for. He has to ask him how to pronounce his name.
Listen, he's the worst.
Yeah, I know.
Shane, what's your go-to line when we have somebody on? And it doesn't happen very often anymore because we don't launch a lot of careers like we used to. What's your go-to line when you want to know how to pronounce somebody's name? Do you throw something out and you say, "Oh, it's Jim," right?
My go-to line?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce your name again?
Oh, is that what you say?
Yeah. And I know that's not what you want me to ask.
I feel like that's not very. Is that disarming?
I mean, it's straightforward at the very least, so that's something.
Hey, how do I say your last name again?
Yeah. Just be like, oh, hey, the guys were wondering how you pronounce that.
And you're like,
Michele.
Lulla.
Micheleche. I don't know.
Did you ever get tired of people misspelling your last name?
No, I usually just spell it out now. I'm just like Lulla. Boom.
Wait, one more time.
Lulla. I probably do say it too fast.
How were you feeling about the AP poll? Hashtag too soon?
I
saw the graphics on the show, but I couldn't hear a goddamn thing.
That was the coaches, right? Coaches poll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say AP?
Yeah. I was.
Which, by the way, I probably
frustrated by it.
I should be voting. I do the AP thing now.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Look at you, Mr. Voter Man.
Oh, I'm not proud of it. I was asked.
No, I was frustrated by it.
Were you?
Yeah.
What's stuck in your craw?
The SEC thing. This is where it starts.
You're such a hater.
No, this is where it starts. You know this is where it starts.
Who just had the meltdown online? It wasn't Dellinger. Was it Mandel? Somebody just had a meltdown over the preseason polls being overrated.
I mean,
like they carry too much weight.
They do carry too much weight.
I was pulling into Lincoln. So it was last week.
That was my issue.
It was last week. Who was it though? Was it Mandel?
I don't remember. I didn't see it.
Like it was upset that preseason polls carry too much weight.
They do. They carry way too much weight because this is what I mean when I'm talking about the SEC being a Ponzi scheme, because they prop themselves up. They get propped up where coaches poll, AP poll, whatever, with teams like. I mean, you're looking at they've got 9 teams in the top 25. 9 teams. There's not going to be 9 teams in the top 25 for the SEC.
Did I see Klatt had 6 from the Big 12 in his top 25?
Oh, did he? That's aggressive also.
That sounds about right though. Doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd rather take 6 Big 12 teams than I would
9
SEC teams. I mean, listen. So you're telling me,
all right. I'm sorry.
Like A&M, Tennessee, Florida are better. Like Florida's going to be like 6-6 this year.
I doubt it.
7-5, maybe.
Tough schedule. Got
really
a chance.
tough. I mean, if you want to believe what people are saying, they've got the toughest schedule in the country. So you're telling me they're going to be that much better than they were last year? Which, don't get me started on DJ Lagway, by the way.
Just came back to practice. They're good.
It's the first time he's practiced since last year.
And it's a calf strain. It wasn't even the shoulder.
I'm not worried about the shoulder still might require surgery according to ESPN reports. So that's still a concern.
ESPN and NFL Network. We need to get to that.
ESPN, right? Same thing, I guess now. But the other thing is what?
10%?
I guess. The NFL owns 10% of ESPN now.
Anyway,
you didn't think it was enough?
Stay with it.
So, first of all, it's not like we've ever seen calf strains turn into bigger problems. So we're just poo-pooing that like it wasn't a big deal. He only missed a week. Like, remind me what happened to Tyrese Halliburton when he came back too soon from a calf injury,
yes.
or any other guy in the last 2 years in the NBA. So don't get me started there. But we're assuming this leap out of DJ Lagway, right? Which, fine. Second year. Here's the reality of his offseason. Okay, I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure I had it right. So in the last year, since the end of the season, or since the middle of last season, he had a calf strain that caused him to miss time last year. So it's the same calf that he has strained again. So that doesn't seem great. He had a hamstring pull that caused him to miss time during the season last year. He had a sports hernia directly after the season that required surgery. He had a shoulder injury that caused him not to be able to throw all spring. That still might require surgery. And now we're back to the calf again. This man hasn't practiced football in like a year. And we're making this huge assumption about DJ Lagway. And listen, I'm not denying his talent or anything like that. But if you haven't practiced football, how are you going to get better at football? The man has not been healthy enough to be on a football field.
Thank you, Cody. Okay. So I'm looking at – all right, so Florida obviously has you in a bind.
I think having Florida preseason ranked is absurd. Like if we're saying they've got the toughest schedule in the country, which is what people have been saying.
Most people have them 18, 19?
Yeah, they've in the preseason. I
saw Florida.
17.
I saw Florida, Tennessee anywhere from.
I got the 17, 18,
17 to 19.
Yeah, and then you got Texas A&M at 21.
And you think that's a reach?
I don't
listen. I'll tell you who's too low.
I'll tell you who's too high too. South Carolina at 13 is crazy.
I asked you.
South Carolina at 13 is
3
crazy.
months ago.
Yeah, crazy.
I asked you if South Carolina would be a top 10 team.
Yeah, 13 is crazy.
Do you remember what you said to me?
I don't.
You said I could see just outside.
Yeah,
they are just outside.
That doesn't mean it's right. I could see.
You were trying to guess with the hype.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because people are in love with the North Sellers. They loved
They love Stewart.
Their transfer portal class. But how many times have we seen a hyped up transfer portal? Like, do you think South Carolina, let's say the SEC is as good as everybody wants me to believe, right? Do you think South Carolina has the depth of talent to navigate an SEC schedule and be the 13th best team in the country?
Not defensively, no, but their top 15, 16 is pretty legit. But the short answer to your question is no. I'm not even going to.
The depth of talent, so that's tough for me.
I'm with you.
13 is tough for me when when you're real top heavy.
You know, I'm telling you who's too low, and I can't get you to rock.
Who's too low? Talk to me. Who's too low?
Oklahoma.
You think they should be preseason ranked?
Yeah.
I thought it was crazy that
Oklahoma's top 25.
I thought it was crazy that they were 26.
All right, don't say anything if they beat Michigan's head in. Then you're gonna poo-poo Michigan.
No, I'm not gonna poo-poo Michigan.
Remember,
I need Michigan
they're
to
not
be good.
supposed to.
They're not. Yeah, no, they're not.
They're not supposed to. So if they do, I don't want to hear that Michigan's
too high too. This isn't just an SEC thing. Michigan's also too high. We don't know anything about Michigan right now.
Most people, they're in top 10?
14.
Clad has them at 10.
We don't know anything about Michigan right now.
I like Oklahoma.
That's fine.
Can you like a team outside of their schedule? Or do you have to like a team in addition to their schedule?
No, I think you have to make the distinction, though. Because you could be like, hey, I think Florida actually is really talented, but I think it's going to be tough.
Because that's how I feel about Utah.
Sure. You like their team, you don't like their schedule?
Yeah, that schedule sucks.
I'm gonna have to look at it.
Yeah, it is. It's no bueno. It is no bueno.
Open with UCLA, that's tough.
Hey, so do you remember the deal that I sent you and Suave? And he was going to post the graphics, and then we never got to it. It was the top.
I think he's got it still.
It was the toughest schedules and like toughest non-cons. And It was super interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I looked at Indiana. Like a lot of people have Indiana 9-10 wins.
Yeah, they're at 19, which would probably project to about 8 wins.
Dude, I think they go Illinois, Iowa, Oregon. Back to back.
Their schedule's tough.
I don't know about tough. They're just tough. It's just tougher on the road.
They have tough.
The non-con blows.
Well, yes. That apparently is going to be a Signetti thing.
Yeah, he's just following the SC.
Got that SEC model.
I'm going to get his manners. I got to watch him one more time.
He's a little twitchy.
He just
season in Indiana history.
So Suave, he's alive and kicking.
Yeah, so you got Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, which, okay. But this, I mean, it gets real in a hurry. You go Illinois, at Iowa, at Oregon, Michigan State, UCLA, at Maryland, at Penn State, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think it's easy.
You think it's easy?
Non-con. I'm just playing.
Oh.
I'm just looking at the graphic that Suave put up. Toughest. This is according to ESPN. Toughest Power 4, Florida. At LSU, Miami, Texas A&M, home against Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee. Now, the easiest Power 4 is interesting because Wake's win total is super low.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Are you taking that as a harder schedule than at Alabama, at Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, at Oregon, Washington, at Indiana, Illinois, at Minnesota?
So that's the perception. That's SEC versus Big Ten.
This is my point.
All right, one more time. Okay, hang on.
Okay. I'm skipping the first 2 non-cons.
Hang on.
Yeah.
So let me just process through this.
Yep.
Process this through this. A lot of this is.
So this is Florida's.
At LSU.
Yep.
Miami, and Texas A&M. Home against Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee. Okay, go.
At Alabama, at Michigan, versus Iowa, versus Ohio State, at Oregon, at Indiana, versus Illinois, at Minnesota.
I'd take Florida.
You think that's harder?
Yeah. I'd take Florida.
I mean, Texas and Ohio State are basically a wash, right?
Sure.
Who's the Miami equivalent?
Indiana, maybe?
Okay. Indiana and Miami are basically a wash. Alabama.
Although, would not shock me. I mean, Indiana or Miami messed around and beat Notre Dame.
Well, that's fine, but like, you're not a Mario Cristobal guy. What do you think Miami's going to be this year?
I get it.
You know, like I'm just trying to figure out what they end up being. Like,
and I have to reconcile Carson Beck in my head too.
Yeah,
because I don't hate him like everybody else. I just don't know. Like I just haven't seen him be that
trust
dude.
him. So I want to make a distinction here between capability and what they're going to be over the course of the season, right? Like, yes, on any given day, Miami can probably beat you, but like, what is that team over the course of the season? Because that's how we judge these things, right? So I'll take Indiana and Miami being a wash. Fair?
Mm-hmm.
What's the Alabama LSU? That's a wash. Okay, so what's the next toughest game after LSU, Texas, and
Where's
Miami?
Oregon?
Oregon's on the road. So where's the Oregon equivalent for Florida?
A&M? No.
Not even close.
Relax.
I'm sorry. I would say
LSU?
No, LSU's the Bama equivalent.
They're not on the road. Their away games are LSU, Miami, and A&M.
So what's the next toughest game at home?
Georgia.
So Georgia and at Oregon, I'm going to call that close to a wash. Although I think at Oregon's harder.
Although I do, I'm not going to hold you. Georgia is flying way under the radar.
That's why I'm calling it a wash, even though it's a home game.
Yeah. So if you at the first blush, you're like, DB. Go ahead.
DB.
I think Oregon is overvalued. I think Georgia is undervalued.
Okay.
Would you ride with that? I don't care if you would.
I don't have a problem with that.
It's not going to sway me.
I don't have a problem with that. I think Georgia is probably closer to properly valued in my mind because they have a lot of question marks.
Okay.
A lot of talent, a lot of unproven talent. We've gone back.
A lot of fellas that have played.
We've gone back to the Kirby.
Fellas that have played.
And they got a lot of fellas that haven't been there more than one spring, too. We had this conversation
3.
with Kirby Smart.
It was 3. He was traumatized.
Yeah, he's traumatized.
He said, I looked around, they raised their hand. I'm like, dadgum, fellas. No wonder we can't practice the Georgia way. You ain't been here long enough.
So, like, I think they're properly valued considering what
Kirby
they're –
might have just been blowing smoke.
Might have been. And I think Oregon might be a little overvalued, but it's on the road, so I'm going to call it a wash.
So, you know how people think Clemson has a favorable schedule?
You don't think so?
So they've been voted as having the toughest Power 4 non-con.
Okay, what do we have?
At home versus LSU and at South Carolina. Do 2 games constitute? Isn't it crazy how in 2025
2 games constitute non-con?
2 games, but I get it though.
Honestly, if you're playing 2 power conference games, you're in the minority already.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you're already in the vast minority.
Yeah. Do you want to know the easiest Power 4 non-con?
Indiana.
They gave the nod to Penn State, Nevada, FIU, and I'm missing one.
There's no way that's easier than Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State.
Old Dominion.
There's no way.
Well, I mean, it is Espen. Doesn't have to be right.
I'm just saying. Like somebody forgot to look at Indiana's non-con.
Old Dominion.
Toughest Power 4 home games.
Okay.
Now, they said Mississippi State. I'm not so sure.
Again, they are saying Mississippi State because they're making probably
There is one non-SEC team there.
Wild assumptions.
It's Arizona State.
That's a tough home game.
So they got Arizona State, Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss. Ole Miss has to replace a ton.
So that's the other thing. So I don't know about Ole Miss.
They got to replace a ton.
Texas and Georgia, absolutely. Texas and Georgia, 100%. You know who, I'm not sure that I buy Ole Miss. I am not sure. What was the other one? I'm not sure that I buy Tennessee.
You know how many teams don't have a Power 4 on the non-con?
I would guess a lot.
Houston, Indiana, Maryland, Northwestern, Ole Miss, Penn State, Rutgers, Texas Tech, Wake Forest, Washington.
That's not even a single Power 4, much less 2.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's the way it's going.
You remember, though, when I stood on the table and cried like a 6-year-old, probably closer to 3, that with this format we were moving to, this was pre-COVID, L3, pre-COVID, so I wasn't even crabby yet. This is what you're going to get. And you guys tried to tell me, oh, no, regular season's going to matter more. It's very select, yada, yada, yada.
Conference regular season is going to matter more now.
You think?
Here's the thing, though. You know how you fix it?
Pre-COVID, by the way, historical.
You know how you fix it?
I wonder how we will look back at that in time, Liquid.
You just go to the automatic qualifiers because then it doesn't matter what happens.
I'm going to need you to knock it off with AQs.
I'm not going to knock it off.
I'm going to need you to knock it off.
This is why I can't knock it off. Because you're going to put 9 SEC teams in the top 25.
Listen, I hear you.
That's why I can't knock it off.
I hear you.
Clearly, the judgment cannot be trusted. You have to take it out of their hands.
You still have to go out and play games, though. You're saying because you're ranked so high, you have more margin for error.
100%. You absolutely do. If you're in a 5-11 model and you start in the top, like Iowa's not starting in the top 25. Is Iowa and Minnesota any different than the back end?
I'm going to need you to press pause.
Okay, pause.
Are you kind of like Tony Petiti Lulla or what?
I'm like, I love college football, and I don't want you to mess it up. And I feel like the way this is going.
You've been around Dame Happer too long.
The way this is going.
I'm serious.
Why is that?
Because that's how he feels. I think you guys are unnecessarily panicking.
I don't think I am at all. I think I am properly panicking. Like there is no way, the way that the narratives about the SEC go, that I can trust people's judgment to pick the correct 11 teams after the 5 conference winners. I can't do it. At the very least, if I get 4 AQs, I know there's a objective, not subjective measurement to get into the playoff.
Okay.
Now, I understand we need the 9 conference games in the SEC then. I understand that. If we're going to make all things equal.
No, I just think there's something in between 1 and 10.
Okay, so what would you want?
I'm not against the guardrails, but you don't have to be over the top.
I want to take it as much out of the committee's hands as possible. I do not trust them. I don't think they make good decisions. I don't think the people that vote on these polls make very good decisions sometimes. I think it's very regional. I think, especially in the coaches poll, a lot of these like SIDs who are actually doing the voting, like we can't pretend like they're watching all of college football every week. That's not a thing that's happening, and it's not practical to expect that to happen. They are very focused on what's around them, and I understand it. But then we can't.
So that makes me appreciate Nebraska even more because they have an SID that actually is very careful about choosing voters.
Sure. I think in Nebraska, both at Nebraska.
I hear you, Captain. Very well done, Keith Mann.
I think both Keith Mann and Rob Anderson are two of the best in the biz.
They delegate well. Rob does.
They do a great job of
paying attention.
It
doesn't
executing
surprise
their
me.
jobs.
Rob is fantastic.
Like they're great at their jobs. I haven't worked with Omaha's SID as much. I'm sure they're terrific as well. But I know
from a communication standpoint, they're sensational.
I know personal experience. Rob and Glenn and Keith and Seamus are great at what they do. I don't think that's.
Did you ever think Glenn was going to be as funny as he is?
Yeah, I love Glenn.
I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, Glenn's great. I'm a big fan of Glenn.
I think he used to think I'm crazy. He's probably like, man, you're just saying that because I would tell him all the time. I'm like, the more you're around me, the more you'll know I'm not just saying it. That dude is hilarious. But anyway.
No, I like Glenn. But I think there's a lot of places around the country that aren't blessed with having that level of commitment and care in their SIDs. And I do think you've got a lot of people that do have agendas. I think not just the SEC, the Big Ten probably has agendas as well. The problem is,
Petitti's clearly trying to protect the conference. I don't have any problems with that.
No, he's got to protect the conference. There's a difference, though, between protecting the conference and trying to advance the SEC past where it deserves to be. That's not protection. That's overreach. I want to protect against SEC overreach. That's my issue.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not going to knock it. I try to keep you from going too far the other way. I like balance, right?
Yeah.
Like 4 seasons.
I would love, personally, I would love if I could trust a 5-11 model. That's in a vacuum. That's the better model. I agree with you. I just do not until somebody can give me a selection process, can lay out a selection process to me that makes sense and takes away some of the power of narratives in the sport from the committee members, I can't sign off on that. Not that it matters. Nobody's asking. I don't get to decide, right? But personally, I can't sign off on a 5-11 model unless somebody gives me criteria that makes sense for selection.
Just the guardrails because you're paranoid.
Rightfully paranoid, I think.
All right, so my man Josh says, yep, but you also get huge conference matchups that historically would be big non-con matchups. Example, you're talking about with the conference realignments, right?
Yes.
Because you get
like
Oregon, Penn State, and Texas
yes.
and Georgia.
Yeah.
I get that.
Which is fair. That's a fair point. You do get some ridiculous marquee conference matchups that were not on the slate before.
Yeah, so TG has been pumping this. I don't know. I would be careful, Tony, about the resigning the ACC and the Big 12 to one conference team and going along with the AQ model. I get it. You guys have tried to cram this down my throat. You should be happy with 2. Get what you get. Don't throw a fit. I don't know.
I get the ambition from those conferences. I do.
This year will be very, in my opinion, will be very unpredictable. Color me surprised if you get to drop the gavel, TG, at the end of the year and say, "I told you so."
That they only got one
with the Big 10 and or with the Big 12 and the ACC.
So likely candidates from the ACC are Clemson, SMU, Miami.
I don't even know about SMU. I mean, defensively, they were a mess.
They were, yeah.
And they got pillaged.
Yeah.
I don't know about
so
SMU.
who are your other or your other ACC contenders?
I don't think you can get very far away from just 2. I think you have to stay in the Clemson-Miami house.
I would agree. If we're not including SMU, I don't think there's anybody else.
Now, they're going to have 2 of the worst teams in the country in their conference.
Wake Forest?
Cal and Stanford.
Oh, yeah. I always forget those are in the ACC. It doesn't seem right.
I mean.
Yeah, that's going to be rough.
Super rough.
That's going to be rough. I don't think you can get – I don't think you can get past – I don't think you can get past 2.
It's almost never that linear, though. Now, the team that I would probably the conference that I think may have more of a say.
Do you have a watch out, though, in the ACC before we move to the Big 12? Like if everything goes right?
North Carolina.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
North Carolina.
Like if everything goes right, Bill Belichick's better at this than almost everyone in terms of like the actual football stuff.
Yeah, so I've only seen him really be successful in one place, though.
Sure.
Relatively speaking.
Yeah.
So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt going back to college because it wasn't the same in other NFL styles.
Sure. But for 20 years,
I want to make that.
He outsmarted almost everybody.
Yeah.
Helps to have Tom Brady, but still outsmarted almost everybody.
Yeah, the golden voice, Cactus Jack. DB, if Nebraska was in the Big 12, would you pick them to win it?
Sam said he might.
Nebraska is in the middle of the pack in the Big 10. If Nebraska was in the Big 12, would I pick them to win it?
Sam said he might on Monday. Not that influences your decision, but
it doesn't.
I don't think it's
Sam reminds me a lot of Severe. Smart guys, I don't always agree with.
Yeah, that's fair. I just don't think it's a crazy question.
Probably.
I think I would too.
Although
they're definitely in the top couple.
You've had 3 days now: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you get the sense people are more down post Saturday night than up?
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
But do you get that sense though?
I think maybe people are. I don't know. I haven't talked to that many people that went that are down on it.
Okay.
I don't know if there's people talking about
getting the vibe from people that actually went there.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
But most of the people I've talked to, I haven't heard. Oh, I don't know about that.
Right.
And I certainly didn't come away thinking that. You know, I didn't come away thinking that. There was nothing that I saw,
which kind of surprises me, because I think what you wanted and thought to be good, I don't know if they were.
I think there were. What are you talking defensive line?
Mm-hmm.
I think there were parts of the defensive line that I thought were really good in like certain sections.
Yeah, this is going to be a fascinating camp. Because I think, especially defensively, there are so many. Like the evals could truly be day to day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think if people weren't asked about specifically,
mm-hmm.
there would be very few guys that would come up.
Like for instance, yesterday with John Butler, somebody asked specifically about Williams and Minari. That is not a guy that I felt stood out on Saturday. Just didn't really pop to me. That's, one practice, whatever.
Somebody asked me about him separate. Was that you? And I said he was a little. Oh, it was Lance. It was Lance. Never mind.
Yeah,
it was LBZ.
And so I don't think he would have come up independently. But John Butler's answer was interesting. He said, "Yeah, he's going to get on the field this," which I wasn't even making that assumption that he was going to get on the field. Like I didn't know how far he had.
Did
to
you
go.
feel McCullough would have come up without being asked about?
Not from what I saw.
Did you feel Donovan Jones would have come up without being asked about?
No.
It's going to be it's going to be interesting.
I think guys that I would have brought, if I was John Butler, guys that I would have brought up independently without being asked about. Is that fair? Here's my list.
This would be interesting.
Guys that I would have brought, so I'm going to include Jax in this as well for D-line.
Okay.
Guys that I would have brought up without being asked about would have been Dylan Parrott,
mm-hmm.
Dylan Rogers. I thought he played really well. Maverick Noonan.
Guys you asked me about.
Yeah. I would have brought I thought Cam Lenhart looked really good on Saturday.
You're missing one.
I mean, I always
first guy you asked me about.
Oh, Jalen George?
Nope.
Well, that was the first guy I asked you about because I was wondering what was going on with the green jersey.
That came in a flurry. I wondered why that was the one thing I didn't answer.
There was like 3 in a row.
It came in a flurry.
Who was the first guy I asked about?
You asked me what they thought about Ochoa.
Oh, yeah, Ochoa, for sure. Ochoa definitely would have come up without somebody bringing him up to me.
Yeah. It was interesting, too. Like, I'm trying to get the gamesmanship.
Riley probably would have brought up.
Questions being asked versus what coaches say. How about Coach Rule mentioning Ochoa third, saying don't sleep on him? I'm like, sleep? Are you playing coy? Because he looks pretty good. I don't think anybody's sleeping, and he brought him up last.
So I think people who haven't seen, like people that either didn't go to practice on Saturday and are talking about the team without having seen much are forgetting about Ochoa. Anybody who's seen practice is not forgetting about Ochoa.
You love Coach Rule.
I do love Coach Rule. And listen, I asked you about Ochoa before I even saw that clip.
Me too. I'm BSing you.
I mean, we're going to talk to Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7, coming up next.
What's the tackling look like? Yeah, I would say from a physicality standpoint, that's just something we got to keep working every day. I think we've had, maybe this is our second full padded practice. We've had a couple practices in uppers, But it's, to me, I think I've said this before, but football is such a unique game in that you can practice, all off season and lift and train weights, but the contact aspect of this game and how it's being limited, by NCAA rules, and even when you're in the NFL, like the NFLPA, you can only have so many contact days, so you got to maximize those. So, we're working a lot of thud and just strong, thud tackles now, and eventually we'll get to some live to the ground stuff, but you got to have that balance of maximizing the physicality of your whole team, but our defense, but at the same time keeping everybody healthy. So I think it's a work in progress.
At Centros Federal Credit Union, we have the tools and resources to help our members fulfill their financial goals. With a focus on building a stronger community for the next generation of leaders. Centros Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
I definitely think we're heading in that direction. We with having the time that we have nowadays over the summer to spend a few hours with the guys throughout the weeks, I think that has definitely helped, and it has allowed our guys to kind of pick up where we left off this spring. And now we're kind of getting into, we started real elementary, but now we're getting into the middle school and trying to get into the high school stuff right now as well.
Who's emerging as leaders in your room?
I would say it's multiple guys. Deshaun is being more vocal than what he has been in the past, which is good to see. Marquise, he's always been a vocal guy, so he's doing a good job as well. And there's a couple of the other guys that we're trying to, push to do a little more. Malcolm, he's a really quiet guy, but I do see Malcolm at times pulling guys off to the side and coaching them up, so that's definitely a step in the right direction. And then Sierra's another guy that is emerging as a leader in that room, and he does the same thing as Malcolm, pulling guys off to the side, and he's also becoming a bit more vocal in front of the room as well. So I would say those 4 guys are the ones that are standing out as leaders.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
I think as many good players as you have, right? So, the defensive line rotates. We try to rotate as many people as we can. I don't think there's a set number, but I think you'd like to be like at least 3 deep at corner and then 2 deep at each safety position, kind of have a rotational aspect of your D-line. So I don't have like a number in my head as far as like a whole number, but you've obviously got to have backups and then backups to those backups, which we, like in today's practice, we repped a lot of those younger players trying to get them up to speed and get them up to the standard. So I think, depth is huge, but as far as the number, I can't really maybe give you that.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla. It is pretty nasty out right now, so if you are on the roads, please be careful. Make sure you are paying attention. Don't get distracted. Make sure you've got those eyes focused on the road and see where you're going. I know sometimes it gets a little dicey out there with visibility with the rain. This message brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office. So Lane in the chat, we were talking about defensive front right before the break here, and we're going to get to BC at 8:15 so he can actually get off the roads and be safe talking to us. We were talking about defensive front in the chat here and before the break. And Lane, who was at practice, said that he wasn't impressed with the defensive front. Somebody asked why. And one of his answers was they just look undersized for a Big Ten defensive front. And I hear this a lot, and I don't really understand what we're talking about here because I'm just going to go through some of the weights and sizes of the defensive linemen, and you tell me if that is what you would consider undersized or properly sized for a defensive lineman in the Big Ten, okay? Riley Van Poppel, 6'5", 295.
No.
Not undersized. Let's see here. We've got Keona Davis, 6'5", 275, as an end. Not undersized?
No.
Okay. We've got our guy Mason Goldman, who got some reps in the first couple teams on Saturday, 6'5", 270. Not undersized. We've got David Hofkin, who got some reps, 6'5", 285.
Not undersized.
Not undersized. Elijah Judy, 6'3", 300 pounds.
Not undersized.
We've got Sua Lafotu, 6'3", 300 pounds.
Not undersized.
Cam Lenhart, 6'3", 270 as an end.
End? Not undersized.
Right, because he's not playing interior, right? So 270 as an end on a 3 front, that's plenty. Williams Enwinari, 6'7", 265.
Not undersized.
Dylan Parrott, 6'5", 320.
Not undersized.
Okay, so I don't know where that narrative's coming from. If you believe the roster sizes, which I do, those were updated recently. I don't know where the undersized narrative is coming from. Is it just because they're not Ty and Nash?
Do you know what Kenyatta Jackson weighs? Do you know who Kenyatta Jackson Jr. is? Don't even look. Do you know who Kenyatta Jackson Jr. is?
I'm familiar. I don't know how much he weighs.
Kenyatta Jackson Jr. is one of the best defensive linemen in the country. Kenyatta Jackson Jr. weighs 264 pounds. I only give that as an example because there are so many ways that you can skin a cat. And I only say this because I've said this for, I don't know, man, forever. I thought Nebraska was too big.
Yeah, you didn't think
along the
well
offensive and defensive lines for
years,
a handful of years, because they didn't move well enough. We never really, truth be told, we never really recovered from going from two-gapping to losing Carl in the middle of that tenure to transitioning to really hitting the bottom in terms of recruiting D linemen, and then trying to build it back up in a panic after Frost saw what happened to him at Michigan. So I've never loved kind of where we were with how that thing was going to be played. And I get it. Jackson's an end at 265, but even if I take
he's still smaller than the ends that I listed off.
No, I know, and I just did that for
I
just did that for reference. I'm gonna look up.
Well, and while you look that up, the other part of this is John Butler addressed, like you mentioned, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. John Butler addressed this yesterday. Like, you're not going to play the same defense with Ty and Nash as you are with the guys they have now.
Yeah.
So, like,
which is, and I get it. I was going to say, well, I try to talk about that. But I also understand that not everybody's going to see it that way either. Malone Jr. is 297.
Mm-hmm.
Malone Jr. for Ohio State.
Yeah. I was just about
playing in the interior.
I was just about to look up like Ohio State's defensive line to see what their weights were.
Let's see what Will Smith Jr. checks in at. Now, Will Smith Jr. is really good.
Sure. Yeah.
Really good. So they could list him at 220, and I'd be like, that's good enough.
Works for me.
But although they won't list him at 220, he checks in at, this is according to their official website.
Yeah. I mean,
this is interesting. What would you guess him to be?
Will Smith Jr.?
Yeah.
I would have guessed him pretty close to 300.
Yeah, 6'4", 290.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, it's a little lighter than I thought. But, again, I don't think we look at 290 as a huge defensive lineman.
You named off a lot of 209-pound guys.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
In the interior.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like,
I don't know where that narrative has come from. I really don't.
I don't know. I kind of get it because I think you think Ty and Nash, you think stuffer. You think 310 stuffer.
I mean, what did Ty play at last year?
So when he said he felt good, he was high 290s, low 300s. Remember, Nash dropped all the weight too from wrestling.
Yeah, so he was low 300s instead of 320 last year.
So I get the optics.
He also, I mean,
you know what? Like, as I kind of think about it,
he was listed at 310 last year. Ty was.
I get the optics because the body types are different.
Nash was also listed at 310. They are different body types, but you're also going to run a different defense. Like, you're going to run different things.
I just mean physically how they look. Right? Like,
sure.
People carry their weight differently.
But we also last year trotted out James Williams, who weighed like 220.
Yeah, not all 220 looks the same, right?
Right. But I also mean, like, so if there's no, I'd be stunned if there's a guy that weighs 220 that ends up rushing the passer for Nebraska this year.
I mean, how big did McCullough look to you?
They've got him listed at 235. I know that just because I remember looking at it earlier this week.
Oh, yeah, we talked about him.
Mm-hmm.
Does Ochoa look 240?
I think so. He looks pretty good. I think he looks like a lean 240.
Yeah, people just carry. The point is people carry their weight differently.
Yeah, I don't see this as an undersized line. I don't think you can run the same defense that you did last year, but I don't think they want to run the same defense that they did last year. I think they'd like to be a little bit more disruptive, and it's easier to be a little bit more disruptive if you're a little bit smaller, a little bit quicker, a little bit more athletic. I think they're dramatically more athletic across the line than they were last year. Personally,
I do know, like, if you put if you stand Van Poppel next to Ty Robinson,
they're not going to look a lot different.
I think their physique is much different, but the weight is roughly the same.
See, because I'm thinking about what about your physique? About their physiques, do you think is different? Because I'm thinking about Ty at the combine, which I know he dropped weight.
Yeah, he was down like 18 pounds.
Yeah, he was at like 290, 289, something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at him and I'm looking at Riley.
Now, maybe not combine Ty Robinson.
Fair. Last year, Ty Robinson. Sure.
Yeah. But I think they look vastly different.
I think combine Ty Robinson looks a lot like Riley Van Poppel right now.
I mean, those things that you put the squat rack on.
The traps.
I mean, Van Poppels are they look different.
Yeah, he looks huge.
They just look like different players.
Yeah.
But they weigh about the same. I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time over the optics as opposed to the philosophy. But I agree with you.
I just get that. That's one of the biggest pushbacks I hear on the defensive line, and I don't understand it.
And just naturally, I'm probably not the right guy to ask because we play an odd front.
Mm-hmm.
And we're light and we're quick.
Mm-hmm.
We have never been very big. And we didn't give up a 100-yard rusher for 2 years.
Yeah, a lot of ways to do it.
We stopped the run.
Yeah, despite being undersized on the front.
And we're ridiculously undersized.
Yeah.
I mean,
like legitimately undersized.
Even when we wore down in the fourth against the Patriots at State, they went into the fourth quarter with negative rushing yards.
Yeah.
So, like There's lots of ways to get it. Lots of ways to get it. And I think you just look at some of these guys in football now, they can't play all the time. Why we seriously question whether Jordan Davis could be an every down D lineman.
Mm-hmm.
That dude's a terror.
Yeah, he's a monster. He's a monster.
We thought he was too big. So, I mean, I get it, but I don't. And with zone, so much zone and so much gap scheme, you have to be able to play at 45s.
Angles.
Right. That's what
Yeah. I was clarifying for people.
Good point. Good. You don't get even like teams aren't running a ton of ISO.
Well, that's the other thing, right? I brought this up, I think, in the spring.
Right.
Where I go, how many teams are going to line it up and try and just ram it down Nebraska's throat?
And I get power. There's ways to get to power. There's ways to get to duo.
See, I don't know.
I'm processing. What's the matter? What's got you shook?
Well, Lane says, I don't know, Damon Satterfield of Cincy is running right at us in a few weeks, and it just worries me a bit.
See, I don't know if that's how they're going to play.
Yeah.
Listen, Lane, God's honest truth, I hope they do.
With the offensive line and all,
I actually hope that's how Marcus wants to play.
Yeah.
Or Scott. I said Marcus.
Yeah. Scott.
My bad. I actually hope that's how Scott wants to play.
Now, RPO lane, that's a different story. But running it right at him.
Yeah, so that's different, though.
Yeah. Running it right at him.
Like, that's different.
But RPO is a different thing.
I walked you through RPO the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you like that tutorial?
Yeah.
RPO is hard. Why is RPO hard, though? It's hard because of how it's officiated.
Mm-hmm. They allow the linemen to get
allowing
really deep
linemen to get down the field in RPO is why RPO works.
Mm-hmm. Because the
people have defended the triple since the 30s. So it's not the triple that gets people. There's ways to defend the RPO. The RPO is hard because when you read the heads of linemen, whether it's pass, pro, or run block, and you let guys, I showed you the screen that Nebraska ran in the bowl game to Barney.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Gatula's 7 yards downfield.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that thing is borderline whether Barney was behind the line of scrimmage or not. But that's what makes it hard.
Yeah. Because you're with Barney, you were probably talking about.
And they're holding you with run action.
A foot either way, whether he was in front of the line of scrimmage or behind it.
And you're like, well, you get 5 yards. I'm like, no, you get 2, and it's pretty subjective. If I was a head coach,
mm-hmm.
every time I would say to the officials, if I'm playing a team with RPOs, that RPOs you, I'm like, hey, let's pay attention to ineligible men downfield. Because it's changed the game.
Yeah.
You see it in the NFL, and when you can't touch guys like at 5 yards, that's why everybody moves into the slot to play receiver. It's like free pitch and catch.
Yeah.
It's hard to stop. So I don't think RPO is the same as getting it tanked at you.
Right. It's a different thing.
It's a different kind of dilemma.
And not saying it's not a problem.
No,
I'd be more concerned with Cincinnati. I'm more concerned about RPO than I am
you
about
look at
them.
Bielema and that gap scheme with RPO. There's a reason
Allmeyer's really good at it.
Yeah.
Allmeyer's very good at running that
Although
RPO.
they didn't really hit their stride until like the last third of the season. And I've said this from January, so this isn't new to you, and it's not just because of Evan and like our Illinois fan base. I'm like, how you feel about Illinois this year depends on if you liked them last year. So what does everybody do that talks about Illinois this year? Well, I look at them last year, and it's so if you thought they were good last year, you probably think highly of them this year. If you thought they were last year and took advantage of the schedule, then you probably think similar this year. But I don't know if that's how Cincinnati plays. I don't know if that's how Cincinnati will be afforded the luxury to play.
Yeah. In what sense?
I mean, they got to get some stops.
Sure.
If you want to play that way. That's why I said I don't usually get into, especially for Nebraska, because I've seen it go both ways. Quick starts, dud finishes, shaky starts, stay in the game. A quick start for Nebraska in Kansas City isn't for momentum. It's because you can dictate how Cincinnati has to play. If you let Nebraska start to get creative
then
with pressure,
you're in trouble.
And packages advantage them in the opener because they've worked so much situationally. That's why I think a quick start is advantageous for this one.
Let's talk to our guy, Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7, see what he thinks about all this. BC, what's going on, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty good. Did you navigate the storms while you're driving around all right?
Oh, man. It was coming down, and you talk about people being to walk and chew gum at the same time. I can barely walk and walk at the same time, so I needed to park this thing before I could talk to you guys and get my brain working right. But, yeah, it was kind of a mess on the interstate.
Yeah, BC, I'm terrified. Last time I ran in the rain, my PCL still isn't fixed, and I almost lost 2 front teeth, and that was just 5 months ago at an elementary school during a pickup. So I refuse to now run in the rain. So anything heavy, your boy is waiting it out, BC. There is no outrunning the rain, so I get it.
Yeah. I had to put the hazards on even so to make sure people behind me could see. It was that kind of rain coming down. But yeah, I'm downtown Omaha and good now.
Okay. So I'm glad you're safe, BC. In enough time to talk about. I'm curious because you're in those rooms, and do you guys get a feel when coaches are talking? Do you kind of go by the answers when you guys know you want to ask about a player specifically, or do you go in with kind of that mindset and you wait for the opening?
That's a good question. I think it depends on the coach. With John Butler, you kind of look for an opening. You're looking for a crease, and there were a couple possibilities that were given yesterday. So there was a few names that were dropped. But for the most part, John Butler likes to, I think, keep it more on big picture personnel or like a grouping type questions, not single guys out, which I understand on the defensive side of the ball, because if you think about it, like it would be really hard for him, for instance, to start naming like the situation in the secondary and not have like people just jump to conclusions thinking they know stuff based off a comment or two. So
right, like hey, this guy playing the dime. Oh, this guy could play in the big nickel. Oh, this guy could play in our regular nickel. Like, yeah, I get it, right? Because
I think
he protects himself from going down that rabbit hole. You mean? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Well, I think John Butler understands well that we talk about everything that gets said, and so like even when he was asked, like what do you do best right now? He answered that as saying, well, I got to think about this basically because then it could be perceived as we don't do this over here very well. If I say, this, that we do this good. And so I think he's very cognizant of that fact, and he's right on it. But yeah, I mean, he was asked about William Venneri and Jordan Ochoa, and I think there's certain guys where like he understands, what the person's going for. But to your first question, I do think there are certain coaches, they're not going to just go on and on about specific guys, and you kind of you work around that and understand different ways to talk about things.
BC, I thought it was interesting that he did choose to talk about Williams and Ochoa kind of specifically when, like you said, he did kind of dance around some of the other more specific questions. I'm curious, obviously those guys both play on the defensive line or, jack positions. I'm curious because we've been having this discussion right before you came on here about the defensive line. What were your impressions from open practice of them and just how they faced up against the offensive line there?
I thought it was a good, give and take, honestly, between defense and offense. Like in August, you're always, I think, kind of hoping to walk away from that where you say, well, the offense had these flashes of good plays, but I also saw this from the defense where it's kind of a trade-off. And I thought that was represented pretty well. I'd be lying if I didn't say I am curious as to who guys 5 through 8 are going to ultimately end up being on that D line as far as filling that in. But I also keep in mind, you mentioned like Jordan Ochoa and guys like that, like Williams McGahee and Deshaun McCullough. I think of the first four that we think of on the D line: Keona Davis, Cam Lenhart, Elijah Julie, Van Poppel.
Mm-hmm.
And then I factor in the jacks too with that. Like you can do a lot of variations with that, with McCullough and McGahee and Ochoa. And so that gets you to 7 guys right there. And then you've got sort of these wild cards that I think are really interesting in Winery. And there's guys, bigger bodies you can plug in for different things with I don't know who it's going to be, Dylan Parrott, Mason Goldman, Ashton Murphy, whatever. They do have options, but I don't know as well as I would like to, I guess, who's going to be necessarily like kind of 5 through 8 on the D line after the top 4 when it gets down to like the middle of October. So that's going to be really interesting to me to see who's got the goods as this season plays out, and who they trust early on sort of for some of those reps to give you depth.
And I think sometimes, I don't know, maybe this is just the coach keep peace in the family. While I don't think anybody says anything they don't believe, I do think sometimes you do coach guys that need to hear their name mentioned just from –
or some guys need a little positive reinforcement.
They need some reinforcement, right? So there's always, I think, that give and take too. You may have just asked a guy to move. He may be having questions about, if he can hack it, and you could need it. Like, there's lots of gamesmanship, I think, that can be played sometimes when coaches take the podium, which is also why I think if they had their druthers, they just wouldn't go there. They'd keep it topical. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I understand that. So, I mean, that's why I never get out of sorts when there is a coach that's sort of in that mode, especially at this point in camp where it's grind time and it's not easy to just like, you don't want to give too much flattery to certain guys, even if they're doing really well. You want to just keep pushing. When it goes to the D line that we were talking about, there's a couple like developments that have happened that, I offer a slight challenge. Like, for instance, Jalen George was a really, and he still can be, but he was a really interesting pickup out of the portal, I thought.
Robbie loves him some Jalen George.
Yeah, he looks the part, but he's been in that green jersey and kind of didn't get the full run up in the spring and stuff like that. So you kind of work around that because, back in January, if we had this conversation about the D-line, you probably say, well, I'd like to pencil him in as one of those guys who has a spot. So he's got to work up to that. Even some of the freshmen, not that you would count the true freshmen, not that you'd give them a bulk amount of reps, but like, Malcolm Simpson's not really available. And I think there was actually some hope like a guy like him could get in quickly, kind of like Keona did last year, where you give him a sampling. So there are a couple of those little things that they have to work past with that group. But I thought the most interesting comment from John Butler yesterday was, you might have played it too, is like, we're not the same as we were last year with our personnel with Ty and Nash. We'll play differently to our people's strengths, basically. And you kind of got to remember that in this conversation. It's not just a apples to apples, replace this guy comparison. You're always adjusting to the skill sets of your guys, and you tweak things, and you can have success in a different sort of way. It doesn't have to look exactly like it did last year.
Yeah, I think situationally, there are a couple things I like that he said yesterday. Number one, working in some young guys in the back end so they can get ramped up. Number one, but 1A was he gives you the opinion. You want to play as many good players as you have. I always tell people, as a player, you want a coach to feel uncomfortable that you're not in the game, right? If a coach isn't missing your presence, he's probably not going to be in a hurry to get you in. And I like the fact that they seem to, Coach Rule has echoed this sentiment, Coach Butler has echoed this sentiment. They're going to try to play to your strengths. Just go to work, be a good football player every day. Don't compare yourself to whatever. We'll figure out the rest. I did get the sense that maybe they don't have a complete jack, the run stopper, pass rusher, but if you can rush the passer, you'll rush the passer. If you're good in run stopping, we'll figure out run stopping packages. If you're good covering in the slot, we'll figure out, how to maybe play you in the dime. If you're a really good tackler, maybe we'll figure out how to, I did like the fact that situationally, if they feel like they just have a lot of football players, it gives them a lot of options to be flexible with how they want to approach it.
Yeah. I agree with that. And it's, I was wondering as you were talking there, Damon, is there a guy, like everybody always says Ty, Nash, and like Jamari, like replacing them. Is there someone else though from that unit last year that's actually like to you more interesting that they're trying to
it's easy.
MJ Sherman.
Close.
Okay.
John Bullock.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Why Bullock? Because Bullock was good against the run. He was a very good blitzer. He could play out in space. You didn't have to really take him off the field a ton. So, like, my counter to that would be, okay, if you like hyphenated last name and Bauer as your run stoppers, like downhill guys, okay, that's Bullock. If you like a guy that can cover or maybe play over a back or a number 3 out, that would be Javen Wright. If you like a blitzer and a guy that can gap you out and get downhill, that could be Shavers Jr.
Yeah.
Those, I just mentioned 3 or 4 guys. A lot of that Bullock did.
Could all do, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's a guy that I think is pretty – well, he may not have been – and listen, he's in an NFL camp as a priority free agent. So he's clearly a really good player. I just think we undersell his impact from a year ago because you didn't have to take him off the field. And they may have to do it a little bit different this year situationally based on what the actual down and what's actually going on. You know what I mean? I think we miss Sherman is a good one, but I think Bullock is another one where he kind of could do it all.
Yeah, that's good info. And I heard Ravi say Sherman because that was the name that was kind of in my head.
I do think Sherman was underappreciated. I do.
Yeah,
he's very good. He's very good at the point of attack.
Yeah. So I mean, but this is where again, guys with different skill sets, you're finding their niche and what they can excel at, and you play to that. And this is where you trust coaching a little bit with that too. And so there are challenges to it, but I think you also see opportunities where there's certain things you can probably be better at than you were a year ago, and that makes up for some of those things. He mentioned the other day, it's about finding 11 that are cohesive, that understand the strengths and weaknesses of a call, and then working with that in mind. And that's the biggest thing that's going to, have to happen for this defense. And the tackling part too. I do think that's such an interesting thing as we get in these last 3 weeks before the game. You only get 9 full padded practices. So often that first week, especially if it's a game where it's like a touchdown point spread or within that, it's going to come down to who covers that base item the best and it tackles well. Like I thought 2 years ago in that opener at Minnesota, Nebraska tackled actually phenomenal for an opening game. Obviously it leaked away, shouldn't have, but if they could duplicate that sort of effort for an opener tackling wise, I think they'll be in really good shape in Kansas City. That's going to be a big topic, I think.
Yeah, BC, I couldn't agree more. It's almost like you're tugging at my heartstrings. The 2 things that I harp, isn't it funny? Right? The 2 things that I love to process and walk through about good players, because Ravi does a good job of kind of like planning my strengths of how to play defense and what you can do. And I said, it's interesting. One of the things that's underappreciated about playing defense and being good at it is where am I vulnerable? Like what are we willing to give up? And do I know that pre-snap based on formation? Like that is absolutely critical if you want to be a good defensive team. And the other thing that you just hit on was tackling, right? And I know, Coach Rule used a couple of guys after the scrimmage on Saturdays, guys that brought physical presence and tackled. It was Tony White's number one thing that you had to have. and the secondaries. You got to be able to tackle. Coach Butler is the same way. He talks about it all the time. Addison Williams talked about it, right? Spent time saying, hey, listen, the game is different now. All 11 guys got to be able to tackle, right? If those guys get guys to the ground, scheme is overrated. I hate to say it as a guy that likes to be creative, but if you get guys to the ground with some tenacity, scheme's overrated. I mean, Miami played a 4-3 under front for years in the 90s because they could run and tackle. Wasn't super complicated. Like, they just got after you.
I mean, to your point, and sorry, BC, to cut you off there, but like to your point, like, how complicated was the Tampa 2?
Yeah, not very.
But they had guys that could run and cover and tackle.
Yeah, we know we're vulnerable deep hole.
Right.
Oh, we got Derek Brooks. He may cover a guy on a seam route
35
yards downfield. We can play that way. We can rush with our front four because we have Sapp, Simeon Rice, McFarland. I don't have to call a lot of pressures.
Probably not getting to that deep hole very often.
Rondé Barber can't cover, man. Guess what he can do?
Tackle.
And he can play a squat corner.
Yeah. Well, and then you got I mean, to your point, DB, like
it wasn't fancy.
Yeah, how many times do you actually see a guy actually just run free on anything, right? There's usually a broken tackle close to the line of scrimmage. There's we don't that often see a guy just get turned loose. Just get turned loose and it's gone. Like
except in Columbus.
If you can get right. But if you can tackle 90% of the time, no matter what you're running, you're gonna have an opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I thought last year by no means was Nebraska a bad tackling team, but I think Lulla said this multiple times. I thought they took a step back compared to how they actually tackled in 23, and that's going to be a huge part of this season. If you can kind of get back to those 23 standards, which I thought they were just a really good tackling team for most of the year. So
imagine if you tackle well against. I'll just take 2 games. I won't even give you Illinois. That's a gimme. Take UCLA and USC. You win both those games schematically if you tackle better.
Yeah, absolutely, you do. And there were the signs early on that there were some struggles, like against Northern Iowa. I know some guys were out, but that was an example early in the year that's like, okay, this isn't quite as tightened up even early in the season as the year before. And so that's such a big storyline over these next few weeks. Obviously, we won't know till you get to Arrowhead, but to have a team that excels in the first couple weeks of the season in that particular part of the game, such an important part, is going to decide who in college football gets off to a good jump, because the rule restrictions really have made it a challenge. It always has been to not be sloppy the first week, but I think it's especially so these days.
Yeah, Nebraska hits the vice drill. I mean, Ravi is right when he says Iowa. Todd brought up the specific that jogged my memory. You get Caleb.
Yeah, you get KJ. Ground, it's over.
You get KJ to the ground. That game's over.
Yeah, the game's over.
And it was a vice drill too. So you got a triangle. You got a point, and you've got 2 sides on that pyramid. There's no reason he should have got out.
You have to tackle that guy.
Yeah,
and then you win the game.
I mean, scheme's good, right? Yeah. Guys,
you
there.
had the guys in the spots to make the play.
Yeah,
that's all scheme can do.
That's good pull. That's good pull.
BC, I know we've been talking a lot about defense here. Let's switch to the other side of the ball while we still have you. Anybody stick out to you on offense that maybe you weren't expecting?
I wouldn't say not expecting. I mean, I think Mekhi Nelson continues to make a good push at that in that running back competition.
Agreed.
That didn't surprise me.
It surprised me how good he looked, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I expected him to look good. And I know DB's been a big fan of Mekhi for a while now, but
a year ago at this time. Not to be specific.
It kind of stunned is too strong of a word, but how good he looks running the football. And that's not, I mean, I thought Emmett looked good too, but I don't think we've seen a guy run the ball that instinctually as just a natural runner of the football in a really long time in Nebraska.
He has the traits to elevate that explosive part of the run game that has been missing. And again, you go back to, I always try to talk about stuff that coaches say, because it kind of confirms what you see And you would hear Rule always talk last year about we got to make that second level, third level guy miss. We've got to turn some of these 10, 15-yard runs into, the ones that start up the fight song type of deals. You need, if you can get one of those every other week even, that can make all the difference in a couple games in your win-loss column. And so I do think he has those traits. I don't want to oversell it, but yeah, he looked like he was very impressive. And then you combine that with the comment Dana had about him and said, I'll kick him in his butt if he drops off from this, but he's looking good. And we always like Dana when he says the candor about stuff that wasn't good last year. And so I take that same mindset when he kind of pumps someone up, like he's going to kind of tell it like it is. He likes this guy, how he's looking, and I see why. So that was nice. And then I thought, the wide receivers beyond the ones we always talk about, you see that there is that actual potential, I think, to have like a 5th, 6th, 7th guy who are really pushing things. And that's something in off seasons past, we've always kind of tried to talk into existence, but it hasn't necessarily been there by the time you get to the late fall. And I'm hopeful that they can change that this year with guys like Quinn Clark and Keelan Smith and Jeremiah Jones sort of, on the fringe, but right there to help if needed.
Yeah, it's interesting. I go back to a couple things because I think it all ties together with Coach Holgerson's mentality. I didn't really fall in love with Mekhi until I watched him actually practice. The Saturday scrimmage for 1890 last year was easy, right? I'm just like, when I said to Ravi, I said, look, that guy down there, I said, just watch him move. He moves different. And I watched his mentality, right? And I would always joke that we're going on like a while now, BC, and people don't get it unless you got biracial folks in your family, right? And I'm like, people think these pretty boys, these pretty light-skinned guys are kind of soft. I said, he's anything but soft. And I would joke about it, BC. You don't have to laugh because it sounds inappropriate, but it's just something we joke about. I used to say it to Caleb all the time. And then I would watch him, and then I listened to Coach Holgerson at the bowl game because everybody wondered who the player he was talking about was. It was Mekhi. Hey, I found a young guy. It was everybody I think I can say that now. Whatever. And for whatever the reason, it didn't unfold the way that they wanted it to in the bowl game late in the season, and it pissed Mekhi off. And then in the spring, they're on him about pass pro and what he needs to do, and it further aggravated him, right? So Mekhi takes matters into his own hands. And he hears Holgerson throw him a little sugar early in the week. Hey, this guy can play, but I'm going to kick him in the rear end if he goes backwards. Holgerson knows what buttons to push. And he's got the perfect guy that he can push those buttons with because he's seen him respond in the offseason. Same as I told the little anecdotal story about Quinn Clark. He was going to play last year. Right, we heard it all week. Hey, I like this young guy, Quinn Clark. And then people wonder, oh, he didn't play. We'll say, and fans will say, oh, it's just coach speak. Quinn Clark will say, man, I couldn't get lined up. Your boy couldn't get lined up this week. And then you hear Coach Holgerson say before fall practice starts, you got to be able to get lined up, right? If you can't, nothing drives me crazier than if you. So to hear guys take on what's important to their coach is the biggest sign in development, in my opinion. Until the little things are as important to the players as they are to the coach, you cannot win. It doesn't matter. It's like, you ever been in a relationship where something is super important to you and your partner is dismissive and it drives you crazy, and it doesn't really work until it becomes important to them. You typically won't go backwards.
Yeah, it's not going to not become important to you.
They have to see it as important as well. That's what I like about the young guys' development and Dana's leadership, because it's not like he's asking you to guess.
No, he's telling you.
He's telling you, right? And I get it. It's not for everybody.
That's all you can ask for as a player, though, right?
But that's all. That's what I was just getting ready to say. That's, hey, where am I at? What do I need to do? And then you just let the chips fall where they may. That's why I like Addison Williams. because the theme seems to be similar amongst all the coaches. And BC, correct me if I'm wrong, don't you think it started when Coach Rule said in the offseason, don't tell me what these guys can't do. This is spring. Let's figure out what they can do. Do you remember when he opened spring with that philosophy?
Yeah.
I think doesn't it seem like that's what we're hearing now?
Yeah, I think so. And I as you were talking, I was thinking back. I think this semi connects. I thought there was an important moment. I think it was the Wisconsin game. Both things happened. I believe that was the game where Nebraska played Borkercher and Lindenmeyer most of the tight end snaps.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Fedoni he had a few, and everybody was kind of buzzing about it. Mm-hmm. And this isn't to knock Thomas Fedoni at all. I'm wishing him the best. I'm just saying that was a moment where you're like, oh man, the guy who's always sort of been first or second up in that room, he's down a little bit this week, and I have to think that's it kind of goes when you were talking about Quinn Clark. It's like line up right, and I'm not saying Fedoni wasn't doing that, but like
the standard is the standard.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's guys understand like, okay, he is not afraid to go with who got it done Monday through Thursday, whatever that week, and switch it up a little bit here. I think that was the same game also where Bonner, who they love, I think he fumbled in that game, and he was kind of rolling along after the USC game where he was getting the ball and stuff, and he didn't play as much after that. Like it was a little like, okay, you lost it once, let's give you a little break over there. Those two things kind of stuck out to me, and I've always kind of kept them in the back of my mind. And I do think it kind of connects to what you're talking about and what Rule has said about Dana and just how he works through things. He's like, doesn't matter how much you're paid. It doesn't matter what you did even last week necessarily. It's like, what are you doing this week in your preparation for what's right in front of us? And I think guys do have a good understanding of that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Remember, Coach Rule, I think he said it this offseason or before fall camp about Dana. There was a receiver who got pulled out of a drill. He was coming back. He'd been sick, couldn't get lined up right. Got pulled out of practice. And, short story long, that guy ends up leaving the school. Like, he transfers. He's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it's like, hey, this guy's not with us. Get him out of here. Get me the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I just think if it boils down to survival of the fittest and you keep recruiting competitive guys, ultimately it's going to pay dividends. That's just kind of in my heart of hearts what I think happens.
Yeah, I think that too, because I do think there's this thinking you can't coach guys that way anymore. And I think if you find the right mindset, you absolutely can, and you can excel with it.
And they've got a culture of love, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when you can get away with coaching guys hard.
Because love doesn't mean letting you do what you want to do. Mm-hmm. It means caring enough about you to make sure that you get it right. You're not self-destructive, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. And we were talking about Mackay. I was going to say one more thing about him. Yeah. Give EJ Barthel credit on that with the recruiting. I mean, that was a guy he was in on really early in the process, and he's been tied into a couple of those guys. We'll see what happens with Quentin Ives. That's another example where he was in on early, and we'll see how that plays out. But Mackay was a guy he absolutely spotted and liked as what he could do before a lot of other people, and that's part of the reason why he's at Nebraska now. So if he becomes a real success story, we'll see. Well, got to go prove it. You got to remember like how that all started.
You're 100% spot on with the relationship between Mackay and EJ. EJ, it was early. Mackay was probably 15, and EJ was. That's right. That's a really, really good point, because I know a lot of people sometimes like to bash Coach Barthel. Relationship building isn't something he has a problem with. That's for sure.
He deserves props on that. If that one ended, even now, you got a good player to develop. So that was a great prospect to get.
That's our guy, Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7 BC. Appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, B.
We will be back in just a minute to talk to our friend Kevin Sjuts from 1011 News in Lincoln here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
What's the tackling look like? Yeah, I would say from a physicality standpoint, that's just something we got to keep working every day. I think we've had, maybe this is our second full padded practice. I've had a couple practices in uppers, But it's, to me, I think I've said this before, but football is such a unique game in that you can practice, all off season and lift and train weights, but the contact aspect of this game and how it's being limited, by NCAA rules, and even when you're in the NFL, like the NFLPA, you can only have so many contact days, so you got to maximize those. So, we're working a lot of thud and just strong, thud tackles now, and eventually we'll get to some live to the ground stuff, but you got to have that balance of maximizing the physicality of your whole team, but our defense, but at the same time keeping everybody healthy. So I think it's a work in progress.
At Centros Federal Credit Union, we have the tools and resources to help our members fulfill their financial goals. With a focus on building a stronger community for the next generation of leaders. Centros Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centros Federal Credit Union. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by our friend Kevin Sjuts from 1011 News in Lincoln. Kevin, how are you this morning?
Doing well. We got a soaker here in Lincoln, thunderstorm. I kind of forgot what one of these looks like and feels like. The dog, not a fan.
Kev, do you carry an umbrella?
In my car, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how much I use it, though. I'm more of a guy that, just tuck and run. Let's go. Let's get some steps in quickly.
Yeah. Well, I had to take some True Serum this morning. I busted my rear end, and this is probably back in April or May. I was picking up my little girl from school. It was a downpour. Had on the wrong shoes, tore up my knee pretty good. It still hurts. It has scared me into running in the rain, so I hate to admit it, but I've turned into a wait this thing out guy. It's embarrassing.
Like how long are you willing to wait though? Sometimes you don't have the time and you got to go.
You can tell he's like, come on, sugar, toughen up. No, that's what you wanted to say. How about his pause? Like, wait a minute.
How long are we gonna wait? How long are we gonna wait?
Well, just this morning, Kevin, since you asked, I like to use these little heads up front on our studio, and I'm like. I said 6 months ago, I just run out and get 2 new ones. I said, I'm going to wait this out. I don't know. I'd have been willing to wait through break. Now, fortunately, there was a little break before the show started, but, I would have waited. I definitely would have waited. I'm super gun shy now, Kevin. It's embarrassing.
I'll be honest. This morning, had an errand to run, and, this is right when I was leaving the building is when it opened up here in Lincoln. And so, I had time to play with. So I could have just hung out, waited a little bit, throw in my earpods, jam out, whatever I wanted to do. But I figured, time is money, and I'm going to get in that car. So I did the quick 10-second sprint, and, I got soaked. But I did it, and I felt okay. And maybe another couple of years where I start to worry about my body. I'll think differently. But right now, I'm willing to take that on. My socks are still soaking wet, and that drives me crazy.
That's the worst.
Oh, man.
God bless the humble brag. I may be motivated to tough out the rain now. I'm like sugar, though, Kevin. I lump up if I get wet.
No, sure. Sure.
I'm going to be honest, Kevin. So this is I'm going to tell myself here. I got made fun of by my friends for years because we had planned, going out, meeting up at a bar or whatever. This is probably a decade ago at this point. I'm in my 20s for sure. And I totally bailed on them because it was raining out. I just didn't go.
Yeah,
I was like, nah, I'm not. I'm not doing this. I'm not going out in the rain, bud. Sorry.
So that's another one of those moments where you've turned the corner in your life and you're like a full-fledged adult that you're not willing to make sacrifice. There's other ones too, but that's definitely one of them where you're like, you know what? Netflix sounds all right tonight, and you guys tell me all about it the next day. I'm going to miss out, and I'm going to be willing to miss out.
There was a lot of text messages.
Despite my behavior, I've been growing up for 30 years because I'm always going to pick staying at home. Kev, let me ask you something. Since we're speaking about like toughness, is it refreshing? You've done this a while. These guys take the podium from coordinator to head coach on down. You don't get this. Not a lot of mixed messages, right? It's this is how we do it. This is what we're after. It seems to be a little bit of it's a very firm tone in terms of how the coaches take the podium. And it's not that part that's novel. It's that the players, when they take the podium, are almost regurgitating the exact same thing. It seems like it's been a while since this thing has been synchronized like this.
Absolutely. There is a pretty unified message. And one of the unique things about fall camp here, guys, is not only are we getting the message from the head coach, the coordinators, the assistant coaches, and the players. In season, we don't hear from the assistant coaches. Very rarely do we, outside of the coordinators. And so now, whether it's E.J. Barthel or Addison Williams or Dekel Shorts, like everybody's saying the same thing. And that toughness thing, and hey, we're willing to put in the work, and we're unified, and we're a player-led team. Those are the main prevailing themes from fall camp through the first week and a few days. That's a message that's not just preached in the meeting room, and it's not just preached, in the position group film session. It is consistent, everything that they're doing, because it's hard to pick up on something and really have it a part of your DNA. If it's, just kind of a little here and there, you can tell, like, it's coming from the top down, of course. It's starting with Matt Rule, and he's always said that he wants a team that is tough and physical and can, execute when the chips are down. And I think that's like, if you were to ask Matt, like, what's the number one thing that you want out of fall camp? It's not about, being able to complete a 3rd and 3 pass. And it's not about being able to, be deep on the offensive line. I really think it's just about this overwhelming trait of we are just a tough, gritty, blue-collar team. And he said that the last couple of years, but I think now with where they're at in terms of the roster and retaining so many guys from the previous few years, that and his recruiting classes and being able to bring in guys via the transfer portal or from high school that really meet the mold of what they want it to look now like, not just in 2025, but in 2027 and 2030. They can project long term and say, this is what Nebraska football is going to look like. And I think that they have the guys that are really kind of the puzzle pieces that they want in terms of the team DNA moving forward.
Kevin, speaking of everybody's kind of speaking the same language, it's funny sometimes because you don't even realize it sometimes when they're doing it because they'll use different words. But I heard Coach Rule say, I think before the practice on Saturday, hey, we're pretty smart. If there's 2 great players, we're going to get them both on the field. And then yesterday, you hear John Butler say in answer to a question of how many guys you're going to play on defense, he goes, we're going to play all the good ones, which is basically saying the same thing, right? It's just it didn't strike me until we're talking about kind of common language and things like that. It's like, oh, they said the same things. I just didn't hear them the same.
And sometimes you hear that and you think, well, that means everybody's about even and there's no standout players. I think this is the opposite. I feel like this is a situation where they do have a lot of really good players and they have depth in some really key spots. And I'd take it a step further, Ravi. Addison Williams, the secondary coach, he's saying that he doesn't even know right now, like, where everybody stands. He just has some players.
And believe him too. He's telling the truth. Believe
and
it.
if you look at the roster, they got a bunch of dudes in the defensive backfield, and they have a lot of experience. And there are some guys that probably aren't going to be on the 2 deep, that can definitely play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So, have you allowed yourself to expound or even expand, if you will, on what that means for what special teams could look like if you
I
do,
haven't
in
even thought
fact,
about
have good depth? Because
that's
nobody's
the next
really
thought.
taken the
That's
like
the next thought, right? Because if they're not going to play,
nobody's taken the special teams podium yet, really,
Yeah.
right? We just know
Bro.
kickers with 7%. Like,
yeah,
it could be amazing.
Excellent point. I haven't even really given special teams too much thought here in the preseason, and it's going to be such an important part of the way this season plays out. I guess that's maybe a little bit of a lie. The only thing I've thought about special teams wise is, Archie Wilson punting, and also, your return man, because Emmett, are they going to put Emmett back there to return kicks? Or do you put Ja'Cory back there? I've always wanted to see, I feel like Ja'Cory Barney has just house call waiting for him. So much of his game, and I know he was really, really good at the Big Red Preview on Saturday when everybody got to see it, and he plays with so much confidence. I've always likened Ja'Cory Barney's game to J.D. Spielman. I just see so many similarities there. They're a guy that can take the top off, and I think that he could be such an amazing weapon on special teams. But back to your thought, DB, about special teams, you raise a great point. If you have so many great players that are creating position battles and really shining, whether it's at wide receiver or along the line or in the defensive backfield or at linebacker, they're going to be able to contribute and see the field on special teams. I guess I instantly just think to, punting, kicking, and returning, but it goes so much further than that.
Yeah, you just take a look at the secondary. We know a lot of the names. We don't even talk about guys like, I think he could play in the dime, but we don't talk about guys like Rhett. We don't talk about guys, with like Branch or,
Khan.
Khan. You've got Trent. You've got Bauer. You've got Wright. You've got Bullock. You've got McCullough. You've got Noonan. You've got Stanger. You've got you have a lot of options of guys that can't play all the time, every down, that you think could be pretty good. I mean, how much do you want Amari Sanders sitting around? You know what I mean? Guy could be pretty good at some point. You probably ought to use that guy somewhere, don't you think?
Yeah, and inevitably there's going to be a few injuries throughout the course of the season. So this all lends itself to just being able to navigate the season better. Because when somebody gets nicked up or somebody goes down, the old next man up mentality for Nebraska, given what we're learning in fall camp, the drop off shouldn't be too significant. And the other thing you have to keep in mind with special teams and some of the guys that you just listed in the defensive backfield is you got to keep these guys on the field. You got to keep them happy, because in 2025, if there's a guy like Amari Sanders that, if he's not playing much in the defensive backfield, you got to get him on the field and special teams, because if he spends the year on the sideline, he's probably not back in Nebraska the following season. So it's just a means in which it's trying to keep everybody happy, get him experience. And who knows, one of those guys, maybe you put on special teams, you give them a role, and they just exceed every expectation placed upon them by themselves and by the coaching staff. And now you start to think, hey, we're going to make sure that you're getting on the field and you're going to be a part of that dime package, or you're going to be a part of, a third down defense situation that we just need you to play. Because look at Donovan Jones last year in the Pinstripe Bowl. Donovan Jones comes out and takes the field at Yankee Stadium and plays out of his mind. And now when the coaches are talking about him as they're, going through fall camp and they're name dropping, Donovan Jones, the fans, the media, everybody who saw it in that one game goes, yeah, kid can play. And he's going to be on the field a lot this year.
That's our guy, Kevin Sjuts, 1011 News in Lincoln. Kevin, appreciate the time. As always, we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, boys, stay dry.
Thanks, Kevin.
Don't forget, tomorrow night is an evening with Henry Winkler. You've got an opportunity to not only see one of the coolest guys ever, the Fonz, you also have an opportunity to help out the Team Jack Foundation. Get to teamjackfoundation.org/Henry to get your tickets today. It's tomorrow, August 7th. That is the event. Do not miss it. An evening with Henry Winkler brought to you by the Team Jack Foundation. TeamJackFoundation.org is where you get your tickets. Talk to Michael Zavir coming up next here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
What's the tackling look like? Yeah, I would say from a physicality standpoint, that's just something we got to keep working every day. I think we've had, maybe this is our second full padded practice. We've had a couple practices in uppers, But it's, to me, I think I've said this before, but football is such a unique game in that you can practice, all off season, lift and train weights, but the contact aspect of this game and how it's being limited, by NCAA rules, and even when you're in the NFL, like the NFLPA, you can only have so many contact days, so you got to maximize those. So, we're working a lot of thud and just strong, thud tackles now, and eventually we'll get to some live to the ground stuff. But you got to have that balance of maximizing the physicality of your whole team, but our defense, but at the same time keeping everybody healthy. So I think it's a work in progress.
At Centros Federal Credit Union, we have the tools and resources to help our members fulfill their financial goals. With a focus on building a stronger community for the next generation of leaders. Centros Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centros Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Don't forget about the summer special still going on. Even when it's gloomy outside, it's bright and sunshiny here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Whether it's your Cajun pasta, your Philly steak pizza, or anything else on the menu, they've got you covered. Make sure you come check out Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. And come hang out with me and DB and Michael Zavir joining us now here, the director of the Jet Foundation. Michael, what's going on, bud?
Just the busiest person in the world, that's it, simple. And hoping that's
Mike
DB's
Sauter.
okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, on a consistent basis, Sauter, because of the stuff he carried. But I've got so many things. When September 1st comes around, I will be the happiest person in the world to get through every single thing we have to deal with over the next 3 weeks. So, everything's good. How are you? How you feeling? How's everything going down there?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah,
you good?
Call over the break. Said they call me in a few days. I'm good.
Feeling greasy?
No. I think they need to figure out how to do it better. Far be it from me to whip medicine, but it is 2025. There's got to be. There's got to be some better ways.
After mine, remember I told you about the medication and stuff. After mine, I scheduled the tables and chairs and tents for Miles's graduation party. Okay. And then had no memory of doing it. So then I had to call around to all the places. Hey, did I call you? Did I book tables and chairs? They're like, no, man, you didn't call us. So I call around these places because I had no memory of having any conversations after that process. So
it was funny. They asked me if I had, obviously I had to go through the list of surgeries and stuff.
Yeah,
and, hey, is there anything we need to know about anesthesia?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I've woken up twice. Once was during my wisdom teeth, and my anesthesiologist looked at me and he said, well, you won't have to worry about that with us. You'll sleep well.
Yes, you will. You will twilight your ass off, is what.
And I was like,
literally.
I feel like I should be afraid.
No.
But I remember, I was fine coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told a couple of bad jokes. Maybe that was a byproduct. But nah, man, it's cool. I feel good.
Good to hear. What's going on with you guys?
Well, what's going on with you? The first things first, you got to get through this auction, right? Like this is the big deal coming up with the silent auction.
Yeah, I got the round table and auction happening right where you guys are sitting right there.
A good place to be.
It's a good spot. We got
up our stuff.
We're not gonna. I won't move anything around. I'm not. I know how that is, man. Every Tuesday when I go to tape the podcast, we're like looking for cables, and you're like, man, just keep the stuff where it belongs.
You know Sasha, so I'm not sure you want that venom.
No, I have no desire to bother her or get her upset at all. None whatsoever. I don't have anything about that. But yeah, that's August 21st there at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, and then we have a roundtable. Danny Noonan, Jay Foreman, Jason Peter, and Zach Bowman. All going to do it.
You mixed it up a little bit. You didn't.
I tried to go generations.
Suspects.
I tried to go generations. I tried to have somebody from the 80s, people from the 90s, somebody from the 2000s, and I run into Zach because we're both in the nonprofit world now, and so I ran into him, asked if he'd do it. He said yeah, and so we're going to do that on August 21st, and auction. We have great auction items, so go to the jetaward.com and you'll see all the information there. As we're trying to sell tickets, raise money for scholarships, and keep this whole Jet Ward Foundation going.
Yeah, I talked to Johnny yesterday briefly.
Mm-hmm.
It did take him a while to text me back, but who am I?
You have no idea.
Oh, I bet.
You have
no
idea.
Listen, bless your heart. Bless your
heart. You just don't know.
All I'm gonna say.
You don't. I got an 89-year-old mom that is more tech savvy. I'm just saying. Juanita Glover, much more tech savvy, sending emojis and links and stuff. And
oh yeah, I should show you my mom's message. Maybe it's their generational thing. Once they learn how to actually text with some proficiency. Look at my mom's last one. I don't know if you can see this, but this is like
it's about. I think it's the grandchildren thing. I see the large
faces and a bunch of hearts.
I see that
because my mom's a great texter and she does the emojis and stuff too. And I ain't got no grandchildren.
Granddogs, granddogs though. Maybe she gets with the dogs.
That's true. She does love our dogs.
She loves the dogs, So yeah, but that's coming up. And I got the 50-mile march, which is happening a couple of days after that, which I'm still obviously raising money for my amount that I have to raise. I got that going on. We got. Tomorrow, I'm doing an interview with Troy Dannon at Big Red Brunch out at Tiburon. I got that going on. We got to do the interview with Coach Rule for Big Red WrapUp. Big Red WrapUp starts the 26th, and so we got a lot going on, Jimmy.
I'm still waiting on that finalized schedule, man. Can you talk to Mick for me, or do I?
No, I talked to Mick on Saturday, longer than I had any need to, because we were sitting next to each other before the press conference got going, and yeah. Mick is a unique individual, bro.
Yeah, this guy, he gave me like the index finger come here, like during Coach Rule's press conference the other day when I had to grab Kyle, and I'm like, bad enough I got to pull Kyle out of here. If you think I'm stopping to say anything, you're nuts. Like I'm not about to get. I mean, Dr. L's is like 10 feet away. You think I'm getting choked out?
I'm not dealing with. That woman. I'm not saying I don't know how tough she is. Like literally,
I think
maybe
she's pretty tough.
But I think I can see in her past there was a bar incident. Somebody got a bottle upside their head, like we always just say in Texas, the ketchup bottle is the best thing to hit somebody with because it don't break.
She is the coolest yet terrifying person I've met.
I know I had to go ask her for something. This was after the spring, whatever that thing was called. And I'm like, I need to give you this to give the coach. And she's like, oh yeah. How you doing? I was like, I was a little nervous. I wasn't sure how she was going to react to me having to pass something along for somebody.
Cooler than a fan and really good at what she does.
Yeah. Did you ever watch? Hey, Robbie, did you ever watch Taxi? The show Taxi. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, not a ton, a little bit.
You know who Jim is, right? Jim later became Back to the Future Doc.
Yeah.
Jim is that is Mick. That's Mick. Mick is Jim on Taxi, but like a little farther removed from the drug use.
Okay, a little, not a lot, a little.
Well, Jim was still doing the drugs, so I don't know if Mick is or not. But man, that dude is incredibly creative.
I'm sure our man Gavin is just like cringe with every thing you.
Yeah, it's fine. You see Enrique mentioning that today. So the Jet Award trophy goes into the game. Yeah, today we get the update.
Was that did you have to make some calls? Does this thing happen organically? Like, how did that work?
2021, they called Johnny.
Really?
And they said, Johnny, we want to put your trophy in our game when it comes back. And they got nothing back from Johnny. So this fast forward to about 6 months ago. when I had a show back at the paper, I used to have a guy on from the gaming tailgate. These guys are great. They follow all the gaming stuff. He sent me a DM saying, they're looking for all the rest of the trophies. They're missing a couple of them. I'm like, really? So I reached out to the guy, and the guy told me the whole story about how he had reached out to Johnny. He had talked to Johnny. Johnny never got back to him about it. And so he just kind of forgot about it. And so, now we've taken care of it. We got him all the information. They're doing the patch, the big patch that goes through today. And so, our trophy goes in. And then the best freshman running back trophy is going in too today. So they'll have all the trophies in there.
There you go. That's pretty cool.
I've never played the game, but I assume when you finish your season, if you were great at something, they give you the trophy. Is that how it works?
Yeah. So if you're doing like a season or like a
dynasty thing,
like a dynasty thing.
Oh, okay.
Then at the end of the season, whatever you've accomplished, you win. You can Heisman, you can win the Maxwell, and you can win the Jet Award now.
Nice. That's awesome. I hope somebody wins it right away and then sends me some pictures of them winning it. That'd be cool.
Tell Rico he's in the middle of a dynasty right now. Tell Rico he needs
win it, bro.
Step up his return.
Win it. Let me ask you quick, because you guys brought up with Kevin Sjuts, who I don't like following behind because Kevin is one of the best local anchors I've ever been around. He's
how funny is that, dude?
So good. He's so good at his job. So good. Covers everything. Does a great job. But
he low-key intimated that I'm a bit of a baby. But intimated. Hold on there, light-skinned dude.
I'm just saying.
You're the one that shamed me about the umbrellas to begin with. So let's not act
never owned one in my life, bro.
Yeah, let's not act like you didn't contribute to
never owned one in my life. So let me ask you a question. So for the 4 years that Mike Eckler was at Tennessee, how many? Now, when you talk about long punt returns, that is defined by 20 plus, right? That's by the stats they work. How many long punt returns do you think Tennessee has given up in the last 4 years?
Given up?
While he was there, how many have they allowed? Because they set the NCAA standard last year.
I know
having them.
They've had a ton.
Yeah, they had a ton of them. But how many did they give up?
I'll say 7.
Ravi?
I'll be a little more aggressive. I'll say like 1 a year, so 4.
Yeah, so they've given up 3. 3 of them, and 2 of the years they gave up 0. In 2022, they gave up 1, and last year they gave up 2. And so you're talking about over the course of that time to give up 3. Nebraska, since 2016, has given up 21 total.
Yeah, but that's 9 years.
I know, but think about it. That's 21 total. You should not average, based off of what I've seen, you should not average more than giving up 1 to 1.5 a year. Just based on, if you go looking through the stats, not a lot of long punt returns in the modern college football. They're just not. For example, Nebraska has given up.
I feel like every year we pick a Jet Award winner, we find a ton.
We don't. So that's funny you say that. Last year in the Jet Award, among the finalists, nobody had more than 2 returns for touchdowns.
I felt like he had like 2 a 20-yarder a game.
Well, he had 7 total punt returns that were long.
Yeah,
but he only had 2 touchdowns.
No,
you got to think back to like I'll be looking on this side. Dante Pettis, who had 7 in a year.
That's
or Tavon Austin, who had 4, but 2 in a game, and then ended up having 5 total.
Which, by the way, we forget.
Incredible
how good a game he had. Remember when they moved him to running back
against Oklahoma,
and he goes for like 360 and like 20 yards a touch.
Yeah, he had over 400 yards running back. Now. Yeah, over 400 total yards in that game, and had a nasty punt return that got called back. All of that happened to him.
Yeah, that was at Morgantown too.
Yep.
Hey, let me ask you: Are you buying what I'm selling with Oklahoma? Because I'm telling you, they're going to be good.
No, I'm on board with the over on Oklahoma. I'm with you on that. I believe it. I think them and USC are probably my 2 teams that I think their totals are way too low. Those 2 teams I think are just way too low because you look at the talent that these teams brought in the portal, and I think it's hard for the average person who is even in Vegas to make a number and completely understand who they brought in and what they've filled. Sometimes it's about eliminating people, no offense to this guy whatsoever, right? But Bryce Benhart was here for 22 years. Now he leaves, right? Somebody looks and goes, oh my God, look at the amount of snaps they lost at the right tackle spot because this guy left. But is it truly going to be a huge loss? No offense to him. Is it going to be a true loss? I think that happens with teams like USC and Oklahoma and who they replaced, who they brought in, who left. I think it makes it a little bit harder for them to figure out kind of how those totals can be. But I think both of those are wrong.
I also think the opposite happens, Michael, where we assume because the guy's returning that they're going to be good or better.
Yes, right.
Like, I feel like that happens a lot. We're like, oh, they got a ton of guys return. Like, I feel like that's happening with Illinois this year. I think they're going to be good again. I don't think they're going to make a leap. I think they're going to be basically the same team they were last year. But everybody points to like, oh, you got all these returners and stuff like that. It's like, that's great. I don't think they're going to backslide. But just because you're returning, like, doesn't mean you are automatically going to be better.
They remind me of, say, 2003 Nebraska. Illinois does. 2003 Nebraska. So you look at who they played. The teams they're supposed to beat, they took care of. The teams they were not supposed to kick their butts, right? And it kind of told you what the team was all about. They weren't getting ready to make that next big step. Actually, they were ready to take a step back. And I think that's who they are. I think you look at them analytically last year, they had a bunch of close wins. I think they had 4 or 5 of them. The best teams they played beat them up pretty good. And, the fictional idea that they dominated that bowl game is ridiculous. I've heard people say that over and over again. They didn't dominate that bowl game. I mean, there was some really bad calls by the officials. They were trailing in the fourth quarter. South Carolina had more yards, more first downs. They didn't dominate that game. They got a good and courteous officiating game from that one, and allowed them to do some things that I don't think should be legal in terms of substitution patterns, but they won the game. But I think Illinois takes a step back.
I told people a lot of our magic happens because we don't agree on much of anything, even we text. Let's talk takeaways from Saturday, because you were a tweeting machine. And there was this part of me that wanted to reach through the phone and choke the life out of you. But I know you so well, it's like, oh, he's just talking. He moves fast, he talks fast, he types fast. Let it breathe, wash over it. Were you more encouraged or less encouraged than the last time we talked to you, when you floored us talking 9 wins and the roster talent?
Yeah, I probably after Saturday took a little step.
First day,
I took a step back, right? I did.
Yeah.
Because there were certain positions that I'm really concerned about. When you're sitting there with 2 running backs who I feel, or can go out there and be good in the Big Ten, that's not enough. We know that. And so something's got to happen better there. I worry a little bit about that. Some of the inside linebacker guys, I look at the size of Watson Trent, and I told you, I went back and I looked at the game against Boise last year to kind of give me an example of who he is. I worry about him and his size in the Big Ten. I love Vincent Shavers. I mean, I think Javin Wright does some amazing things, but I kind of worry about how they're going to be with a faster, more athletic defensive line. And that's also going to mean, I think, the linebackers are going to take on some more guys that maybe they didn't take on last year. And I kind of am concerned about that a little bit. I'm concerned about what the wide receivers did to the defensive backs and how much grabbing and holding there was from the defensive backs, and then the amount of flags will be called if that's the way they're actually playing. That concerned me a little bit. But I still feel good about the 9-3. I still love the fact that I think Nebraska can be really explosive on offense, at least on the perimeter and at tight end. I do worry about once you get past Emmett and Mekhi Nelson, what's going to happen there. And I say this, and I've gotten ripped on this a little bit, but I still want to see this quarterback make decisions quicker. I know they talk a lot about it, but there's too many times where we're sitting up there, we're watching, and a guy flashes open, he doesn't make that throw, then he's holding and padding and having to move. This offense, you got to get rid of. You watch Hogerson's offense, that ball's got to come out. It's got to come out. Take a profit. You're never going to go broke. Take a profit. And I hope he builds on that this year and understands that you don't have to find the big play. You got to get down the field and score. Nothing wrong with being methodical. Methodical teams are great. That's my takeaways from the practice.
Interesting. Was there anything that you were more positive about than you were expecting to be?
Oh, yeah. I think some of those backup wide receivers, I thought watching Keelan Smith, the human double move, that guy had more. He put a double move on Andrew Marshall. I wanted to go out there and like call his mom and let her talk to him and just like, hey, it's going to be okay. That's just one time, it was bad. It was not good. But yeah, he impressed me a lot. I've always liked Quinn Clark, coming out, I liked Quinn Clark. I liked his not just his measurables, but his athleticism too for a guy that size.
I used to think you just like Quinn Clark because I like Quinn Clark, and you're going through your mean phase, and so you're like, oh, I don't really like DB, but he's a huge Ken Clark guy.
No. From the moment I saw his tape, when
I want to invest in Quinn Clark, like my little friend DB.
We do that breakdown, every year on Big Red WrapUp for all the recruit. And when I went back and watched his tape, I'm like, this kid is. I mean, it's funny that his dad looked like his dad did in the way he looks. It's just funny that he produced that kid. But yeah, I like what he did. Jeremiah Jones had a couple drops. He's young, obviously. He's kind of learning the position.
You and Ravi are the only two people that I've heard mention that, because you ever wonder when you watch people write things and post things, you're like, were they watching the same thing I was?
There was a lot of Jeremiah Jones. And listen,
you don't have to go there. I'm just saying.
I know. But there was a lot of people talking about Jeremiah Jones, and I was like, listen, physically, he looks incredible.
He does.
Like, I can see what people are excited about, but I think that the way I described it to you on Monday looks like he's a ways away from being ready.
Yeah. How many snaps do you think he's had truly playing wide receiver?
Well, that's the thing.
Not enough.
Right.
We talked about how there was 8 different position coaches trying to get him in their room, right?
Right.
So I understand this is like his first real week playing wide receiver. I get that.
Yeah, and he looked like that a little bit. The guy for me that I just don't get, and again, I'm not on here to bash guys, but I don't understand Bauer. I don't get the fascination. I focused in. I watched him. He's not good in coverage. He takes some awkward angles. He's not that overly athletic.
He got
I don't see it. He got called to the sideline twice.
Yeah, he got
because of bad angles he took on running plays. And I just don't. I mean, I mentioned that inside linebacker position. I mentioned the guys I like. If he's going to play a lot of snaps, I just don't get it. And maybe it was one bad practice that I watched. That's certainly a possibility. But I don't know how many times I yelled. I'm going, he can't be out there. He can't be out there.
I don't know which I pull my hair out more. Probably running back, because I take it a little more personal.
Sure.
Even though I do know somebody that plays in the secondary. I'm just reading our chats, and he's like, oh, Jeremiah Jones can flip over and play safety. I mean, maybe he's athletic enough. He's good enough to play wideout too. He wants to be a wideout, but let's not act like you just turn around and can play in the secondary, because that's a hard position to play, especially in this defense, and they ask a lot of you, and they'll be shuffling guys in and out for the next 3 weeks on that back end. Like, running back is hard to just flip over and play in this offense.
Yeah.
As is safety, in my opinion. Two difficult positions to match, because they're asking you to do so much more than just traditional roles.
I thought Jeremiah Jones would be more of a Deshaun McCullough type. I think that's what I thought.
He's here because he gets to play offense.
Yeah, and I understand that. And I look, man, that's why Amir Abdullah came here, right? The best running backs in it. They wanted him to play secondary. He came here to play running back. And I get that. But when I look at his body style and I look at the way he runs and everything, I would love to see him just say, go get the quarterback.
Yeah, and it's just, I think I texted this to you. I just wanted to put out a big Goodyear blimp thing and say, we got to have some grace, because it was the first day of practice. And I don't want to make excuses. That's what people will tell me. But I'm a realist, right? It's like the first after-school practice you have at high school, where the kids have been in school all day, and you're in pads. It's 100% going to be worse.
They've been at fan day all day.
Than anything you've seen. And it may not be indicative of how your team's going to play. Just like full pad practice at night after the Saturday, at the end of the work week. I mean, there's some give and take there with what you're going to see in terms of the Nebraska staff won't make excuses, but I look at it a little bit.
There were moments where it looked good. I mean, they looked like they know how to practice. There's times where I went out there and watched Nebraska practice. I will primarily say under Mike Riley, where it's like a mess out there at times. But, they got to their spots quickly. When they said go to 11-11, they got set up. They started running. They made some good things. When they went to drills, they were moving along well and drill. I thought he looked good and like a team that knows how to practice, that they've been around for a while. And that's saying something when they have so many young guys.
Yeah. I like the fact, I think one of your takeaways had to be that there's no question even with the quality coordinators and good staff that they have, whose team that is, right?
Oh, yeah.
When Coach Rule wants to set precedent or say something,
yeah,
it doesn't matter who you are. He's saying it, and he may call you over close just to let you know kind of what he's thinking.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about him. And I've said this to you a couple of times before. He's just a leader.
Yeah.
Or as leader, he's just a leader, right? A leader. That's what he is. And I think he probably was a leader when he was 6 years old in first grade. When they separated all the kids and they got in little groups, he probably was a leader then. He's just a natural leader.
I don't know if he was if he was 6 years old in the first grade, man, good on him. But I wouldn't put it past him.
Well, that's my kid was a 6. I was
supposed to be six in grade.
6 in first grade. That's right.
4,
5th. Yeah, it's kindergarten's 5th grade, first grade, 6th grade, 6 years old.
I'm in kindergarten. You're 6 in first grade.
You don't work like that. You ever been poor?
Well, I don't. Look, man. I remember being poor.
Yeah, you went there. You went to Head Start, so you didn't have to go to daycare.
Well, they brought us that.
You were going at 4.
Nasty peanut butter. It was the worst. And yeah, God, I didn't know it didn't. That's why I don't eat peanut butter now. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. I think that he's just this natural leader, and I'm glad that there's finally people in place that can run the special teams, offense, defense, and he can be a leader. And when he needs to put himself into something, he puts himself into something. And when he doesn't, let them do the whole thing. Let them call the guy over and close or yell at him or whatever. So
would you like it tied in addition to how you think that offensive line has to play? Did you see more of a 6th offensive lineman? Did you see pass catchers? Because contrary to kind of popular belief, I actually think they're going to be intentional about running the ball. I get it with the wide receivers, right? You think you got 7 or 8, and they probably do, but I still think Dana wants and Coach Rule, they want to run the ball in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We saw a lot of inside run at the practice.
Isn't that playing to that line's strengths too?
Yeah, and I also, one of the things I love more than anything is unbalanced offensive line, and let's run the ball and do it with an extra offensive lineman, bring that tackling. Even last year when Mizuka would come in and do it, I love that. I think they have good athletic tackles to the point where if it's Prohaska who comes in as the extra guy, if it's Kanak that comes in as the extra guy, I love the idea of that. I did like how they used the tight ends and brought them in to kind of do that little wham block, come across
when they run
formation. Yeah, I like that. I thought I watched Harburg to see how he would take contact. Did a really good job taking contact in that. Lindenmeyer, again, best at that one. I am not making any judgment on Carter. I'm not making any judgment on him at all. He's got a long way coming off injuries, going from 8-man, all of that stuff. Let's see what he can do. I think that he is definitely 3rd behind the other 2 guys, but I can't make a judgment on him because I think he's still kind of learning, and he's got to be able to get off of when somebody's over him. He's got to be able to get off that guy, and I don't know if he knows that because you're playing 8-man. You're so wide open. You're not even worried about a guy being in your face and being on you and doing all that and being physical with you. So I want to see how he develops into that.
Inline releasing and feeling body weight is hard.
He's good at running by guys. He's not as good yet at, like you're talking about, getting off of a physical
just something
contact.
you got to do. I mean, Lindenmeyer was developed into a pretty good pass catching tight end. I
thought Lindenmeyer was by far the best.
And remember how Luke, when they first got him, Luke used to be kind of an off the ball guy. Like you had to kind of put him in motion. He had to really grow and develop in terms of being an inline, can use his hands, strike you kind of blocker. And so I don't worry about Sat necessarily getting guys ready because I look at Luke and I'm like, shoot. I mean, Bork left better than we got him.
Yeah, he had a lot of potential. I remember, big number 99 at Papillion when he was playing there, watching that big fella run down the middle of the field. I was like, he can play at the Power 4 level.
See the throwback screen to him in front of me over there off of Pacific Street where I think he's still running.
Yeah, so I didn't have a worry about him developing, but I love what they've done with him and how they've gotten him to the point where he is right now. And I'm sure they'll do the same thing with Carter Nelson and everybody else in that room. That's a deep room. There's a guy who was like 5th on the depth chart who came in. He was
Danny King, I guarantee you.
What's his name?
Danny King.
Yeah, he's 260 pounds. I went and looked him up after he caught a ball, and he was running down. I'm like, who is this
Is
guy?
it Echternach? He's not. Is he still?
No, it was a brother.
It might have been.
And I said, "Oh my God, look at that dude run down the field!" And I was like, "Okay, all right."
They got another one quietly. I like Danny King too.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 245. But again, I think that's a good room. And you say whatever you want about Sat. The tight ends have gotten better under him. The ones
I laugh at people. Like if people give me pushback on Sat, I just tell myself, I can't really. I
like Ingerson too. I mean,
me too. Well, I always talk about him. I feel like I need to give somebody else some shine.
Yeah,
I don't feel like we can have an honest conversation if you can't talk about development under Sat.
Right. It's pretty obvious. You know, it's obvious. Listen, this is why 9-3 or Ravi's 10-2, 1 or 2 games just because their special teams is better. 1 or 2 games because if you look at that third year under, and I'm going to go with something different than just the overall, but you look at the turnover margin of what he has done when he's gotten everything straight out. Baylor, that was the biggest difference for them, their turnover margin. So you 1 or 2 games because you're just not turning the ball over and you're taking it away. Now, you've already gotten to either 2 or 4 games more. That's 8, 9, 10, right? So just some of the basic things that they're going to get shored up, that you hope they get shored up, are going to make the difference in winning 6, 7 games and winning 8, 9, 10 games.
I want to go rapid fire, all in or all out nationally.
Okay.
All in or all out on Auburn.
Ooh, that's kind of a middle. If I had to choose one of the two, I probably would say out. But I think they're going to be right where they're picked to be.
Okay, so how about this? I'll give you Rose or a Thorn. Are they going to be a problem in somebody's side, or they're going to come out smelling like a rose? How about that? That'll probably be easier.
No, I think they'll definitely be a thorn in somebody's side. They're going to beat some teams they're not supposed to, but I don't think overall that they can contend, in the Big Ten. I mean, in the SEC.
Wisconsin, Rose or a Thorn?
You know how I feel about them. I think they're going to be a thorn in certain teams' side. I think they're going to be somebody looking up in the middle of the season going, I thought they'd be much worse than they are, because I like them. I'm a fan.
4 of their 5 losses last year were teams ranked in the top 15. Or 4 of their 7 losses.
Right.
Teams ranked in the top 15.
Tough schedule, I know.
Washington.
Oh, Rose. That's one I like. I like Washington.
Minnesota.
Well, I definitely think that Minnesota will be a thorn in Nebraska's side on that back-to-back road games. But I think they'll more of a thorn. I think. I don't think that they're going to get to 9 wins again, but I think they're going to upset some teams.
UCLA.
Don't like UCLA. I know people are kind of on them, but I'm not the biggest Nico fan because I watch Nico.
Okay.
I think people who just looked at his stats at times went, "Oh yeah, he's pretty good," and then I watched him play, and I'm like, "Oh."
I must have looked at Robbie 15 times last year and said, "I don't get it."
That Arkansas game, I was embarrassed for him.
And I mean, maybe if they find another Sampson who was so good.
Dylan Sampson was incredible, but as good as Tennessee's offensive line was, he still got pressure on him. Is UCLA's offensive line going to be as good as Tennessee's offensive line was? Do they have as many skill players?
Got one for you. Ready?
Yeah, sure.
Iowa State.
I think they lose the opening game, as I said to you, but I think they're going to be good.
I won't say how. Everybody likes K-State. That's fine.
Really, they do? I don't know what the feeling is or what the betting side is on that. I just took Kansas State. Do they like Kansas State? Okay. Because I don't know. Just something about the way Iowa State starts seasons for me in my mind. I just can't get that out of my mind, how they start seasons.
Louisville.
Oh. I have no opinion on Louisville.
God,
I have no opinion on Louisville.
If they're good at quarterback, and they are under Brom, that offense could
a quarterback whisperer. Yeah,
really good.
I have no feel on them. I really haven't done a ton of work on the ACC.
Okay, let me give you a couple more in the SEC.
Okay,
he's getting a lot of run because he just produces quality offenses, but their returning numbers are down. Rose or a thorn for Ole Miss?
I would go Rose. I think I like Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss. There's nobody, outside of maybe Texas Tech, that went out and said, look, we're going to spend money and we're going to bring guys in and we're going to do whatever we need to do to get guys in. I like what they've done in the transfer portal. I like their TARP in terms of what they have. And I wasn't the hugest fan in the quarterback they had last year, so I don't think that's a huge loss at that position, which I think people downgrade them because of that.
2 more. South Carolina.
I like South Carolina a lot. I'm a big fan of South Carolina. I love Beamer. I love his attitude. I think he's also a guy who's a leader. I think he was a leader when he was also 6 years old in first grade.
All right. LSU.
I don't. If not this year, if not Nussmeier, if it's not what they have at wide receivers, they literally have a 4x4 track team. You could put them out there in the qualifying for the Olympics, and I think they would come close to being qualified in that top 3. I like with their offensive. I mean, even losing who they lost on the offensive line, I still think that's good enough. Is the defense fixed? Is the defense going to rank in the top 8 in the SEC? Is it going to their efficiency rankings in terms of stopping the run, dealing with red zone? Is that going to get better? I mean, everything they've tried so far has not. They're a very frustrating team because they have too much talent to be what they are. And I like their coach. I know people don't like Brian Kelly. I get that. And the accent.
I just don't think Notre Dame can be making a run at the college football playoffs again and not LSU.
I think LSU can. The defense how did Notre Dame do it? They turned people over and they were really good on third down. And look where they ended up. Can LSU do that? I don't know. If it's not this year, I wouldn't say you have to move on because there's a lot of money and everything. But if he can't do it this year, if he can't get to 10 wins this year, I don't know how he's going to do it.
Let me give you can answer both. I'll give you Oklahoma State and Utah.
Out of the two of them, I like Utah better than Oklahoma State. This is it, right?
Utah's going to be good, but
can they get to 5 wins? Can Oklahoma State get to 5 wins?
You think he's in trouble?
Yeah. Can they get to 5? Look at their schedule. Can they get to 5 wins? I don't think they can get to 5 wins. If they can't get to 5 wins, does he really come back? I mean, you got to make a move, right? You're in a conference now where you have to compete.
Expensive.
You have to compete. If you're in the Big 12 right now, as I mentioned last time I talked to you guys, there's no conference ever that's been as wide open as this one from like 1 through 10. If you can't compete in this conference now, you're gonna have to make a move. But yeah, I appreciate Utah and what they have, and again, I love the coaching staff. So.
I think Dampier, they got a chance.
Dampier, did you watch him? I bet Dampier quite a bit on the props. This dude was a guarantee in the props last year.
Hey,
I mean, he did everything for them.
And quiet as kept, they have at least 2. They've got a top 10 tackle, probably top 15 tackle, and they got a guard. They have 2 offensive linemen on the right side that are potentially day 1 picks. They'll be able to run the ball.
They're going to run the ball, and then the threat of Dampier and having to worry about him, he makes you look silly on defense. He's got to take fewer big hits because he's going from playing against smaller guys who were in a lesser conference to where he's playing now. You got to worry about that a little bit.
That's our guy, Michael Zavere, Executive Director of the Jet Foundation. Michael, appreciate the time.
Go to the website. Go to thejetaward.com. We got to sell tickets. We got to get people to register for the auction. August 21st. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. Everybody that went last year had a good time. Damon was there last year. It was a good time.
I know you haven't been able to get a hold of him, but every time I talk to you, I got to tell you, keep trying Peter Warwick for me.
Oh no, he's on my list. Trust me. This year is going to be Tim DeWhite.
That's fine.
Who the award is? The award in the Big Ten is codenamed after him and Johnny, so he deserves to be on there.
Good pick.
But I'm with you on Peter Warwick. I think Peter Warwick is a guy. I just can't get a hold of him. It's amazing.
I know.
I even contacted a few of his old teammates that I know and asked them to reach out to him and haven't gotten.
He's pretty country, man. Maybe you should get one of those little boats, one of your guys to take you around and travel down and travel down the bayou. So you might run into old Pete.
He Instagrams a lot too. I thought I could find him on that. I went through his foundation he has and still haven't got anything back from him. So.
I'm just saying, I know you're trying. Just don't give up on him for me. All right.
Oh, we got a lot of legacy awards. We're gonna have Legends Awards for the next 50 years.
Okay.
We'll find them before we're all gone.
Lord willing.
All right. I'll take your word on that. That's our guy, Michael Zavere. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
All right, buddy.
Let's take a quick break here before we get to our Michigan State preview. Before we do that, though,
Coach,
got to remind you, you've got equity in your home, and you can access that if you need to remodel, whether it's kitchen, bathroom, maybe you just need a vacation. There's options for you at Centris Federal Credit Union with their HELOCs. This option typically offers lower interest rates than credit cards or personal loans. Go to centrisfcu.org to get more information and maybe even start your application. Federally insured by NCUA and an equal housing lender. We will be back here in just a minute to talk to Graham Couch to preview Michigan State as we continue through Nebraska's schedule here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Cheddar, we getting Rico. Big money rolls like burritos. Give me that hot sauce, no pico. Give me that.
Just surreal. It's a dream job. I said it in the interview a long time ago when I was announced as the new head coach. There's just nowhere else I want to be, no other people I want to be surrounded with. It's so even though it's not my first practice, we had practices this spring. It is the first day of the regular season, so it's a different feel to it. And we had a playthrough this morning and played a lot of volleyball. They looked great. It was just awesome to have them all back in the gym. I again said it back then, like, culture is who we are at Creighton, and that is something I promised them again a few days ago. Like, that isn't going to change. That's who we are. That's our identity as a program. The word that they came up with this year was grit, and different letters stand for different things. And so just being a little bit more gritty. Obviously, we were a team full of seniors last year, a lot of experience. So some new players to kind of welcome in and get going. And so just being gritty, and I think they showed that this morning in our first practice.
Centris Federal Credit Union, we understand that the journey of building your own business typically starts with modest beginnings. With a little help from our team of experts and small business loan offerings, you can take your vision and transform it into a more concrete reality. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Amazing. Yeah, it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever been a part of. So yeah, very grateful to be able to do it.
Why was it so amazing?
First of all, the people. I think when you put a ton of the top athletes together, you think there might be some collision, but I mean, all of the girls were so amazing, so welcoming. Coaching staff was awesome too, and winning a gold medal is pretty fun too. So. Oh my gosh, I mean, I learned so much. It's just really cool to see a different perspective on things. I mean, I learned so much here, obviously, but the stuff that I learned will really help this season.
Does that give you confidence? Like, how much does it give you? You won a gold medal.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely does. I'm just excited to be back with them too, working, because I feel like it's also the people around you that give you confidence. And so my teammates are always picking me up, and so that definitely helps a lot too.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Off play action. Childs lets it fly, and it is caught for the touchdown. Cashed in on 2 touchdowns already. They want one here. They have one here. Carter reels it in. Back-to-back dimes for Hayden Childs. So the and one catch now that's popped in the air. It's bobbled. It's dropped. Or was it? No, it was picked off. Saved by Turner. Off the deflection, he intercepts it.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's a DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Graham Couch, a columnist for the Lansing State Journal. Talk a little Michigan State football. Graham, how are you this morning?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, Graham, good to talk to you again. But it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. It's funny. We're doing our opponent previews, and I'm telling you, at least around here, Graham, I don't know if it's fact or fiction for you, and maybe I'm partly to blame. The Michigan State coming here on our schedule is a little bit – it's like it's become that game that we're like, oh, man, is this our UCLA of last year? Like, are they better than we think? What's the questions with – listen, we can't afford to look past anyone, but I'm just telling you that since we're talking to you, that Michigan State, I think, definitely has the state of Nebraska's attention. You think that's valid?
Well, I think it's smart, and especially in this Big Ten where, like for Michigan State's schedule, they don't have Ohio State or Oregon this year. They do have Penn State, but they've got a lot of opponents who are like their Vegas over-under is 7.5, right? And it's just a lot of teams that, is Nebraska going to take that step this year? What is Minnesota? Indiana, do they do it again? There's just a lot of that. And what is USC? And so some of how things go will be dictated by the opponent, and we don't know for sure about a lot of the opponents. And with Michigan State, I think there are what they have that they haven't had potentially is some strengths that can give opponents problems. Like they've had a lot of weaknesses the last couple of years, and a lot of areas where they lose the matchup. They have not had a lot of matchups they win, and it's hard to win football games when you need everybody to play really well because you don't naturally win a lot of matchups. I think what potentially gives them a shot in games against teams that maybe aren't quite the upper playoff tier but are the next tier down is their offense. If Hayden Childs takes the step that a lot of people think he could, the offensive line people think will be better. Now people have been hoping for that for about 10 years now, so we'll see. But the receiving group, if those two things are better, the receivers have a chance to be a legitimate weapon and an area that really makes a difference, and where that's something that they're better than the opposing defensive backs. And that's a matchup problem for people. And that's important for a program that doesn't have the advantage everywhere. It won't have the advantage on the defensive line, I don't think, all the time. It's good at linebacker, but there's some questions in the secondary. Like there are questions and there are flaws within the roster. And so they need places that separate them. And I think that group of receivers, a couple of which they brought in, Nick Marsh, the sophomore returning, I think has a chance to be very, very good in the sort of group that if you overlook can get you on a given day.
I get it. It's a quarterback-driven league, but I'm super familiar with Rossi because he recruited the heck out of my kiddo when he was at Minnesota, and he's got a really good track record. If I said, Graham, Michigan State's they're gonna do some things this year, but you have to base your opinion on track record of what we saw from a year ago that you think is going to be different than this year. Would you go with Rossi and that defense, or would you start at the quarterback spot and think that who makes the biggest stride do you think is more indicative of how the season's going to play out?
I would go with the quarterback. Now, I think Rossi's a really good coordinator. I think he's a proven coordinator. And some of what happens this year will be a little more on him, right? Because a year ago, you kind of
– that was bad.
And you inherit a roster largely, and the guys you bring in, you're doing it through a fire hose in the transfer portal when you don't really understand what you need yet. And now you've had time. People are there, have chosen to be there. You've had time to go out and get guys. So the GM part of being a coordinator and figuring out what you need, that's now on him a little bit. And I do think they can't be as bad as last year where they went 6 games without a sack, and finished with 5 in Big Ten play. Like that, it was just a slow death.
The third downs too, right?
Yeah, just brutal. Just they couldn't get off the field, and they couldn't. But yeah, it was, and so I don't think it'll be that bad. I think they'll be good at linebacker. There are a couple, promising players on the defensive line, but they're a little unproven. And are they truly difference makers? I have my questions still. With Childs, I think Childs made a boatload of mistakes last year. And he also lost his confidence at a certain point and started reining it back in. But they could not protect him, and they couldn't run the football consistently. And there just aren't a lot of quarterbacks at the college level who would be successful. Like if you put Aiden Childs on Penn State a year ago, even sophomore Aiden Childs, who's still 18, he's 19 now. He's third-year college football. He's 19 till September, which is incredible because most of these guys are 26 now. But but if you just put him instead of Drew Aller on Penn State a year ago, I don't think they're worse at Penn State. You know what I mean? I think if you put a quarterback with his gifts with a good situation where he's protected, has a running game and weapons, he does really well. So the question is, do they have those things in place? Some of it's he's got to grow, and he's a second-year starting quarterback now, but he's got all the tools in the world. And so if they do put those things around him and it doesn't work, then those are flaws that I don't know that he'll be able to overcome. And how well he reads defenses, how well he does pre-snap stuff and reacts and plays. I think the key for him is not making huge mistakes when he has to play off schedule, but then also playing more on schedule. But they've got. I mean, he was running for his life a lot last year, and they just didn't have the weapons that they do right now on the outside. So I think there's a real chance that he looks really good, and people are surprised by it. But I think we often forget that just how much, especially with young quarterbacks at the college level, really any level, but how much their success is dictated by being protected and having a running game, just having some basic things around them.
Graham, let's take Childs out of it for the purposes of this question. If Michigan State is able to have an improvement this year of a couple wins, get to a bowl game, maybe perform a little bit better than national media thinks they're going to, who are some of the guys we're going to be talking about that are the reason for that?
Well, I think, Nick Marsh is the sophomore receiver who's, an NFL talent. And I think Michigan State is grateful that you can't go to the NFL till after your third year because he's only a sophomore. Because he's a 6'3" guy with all the tools. And, I think now obviously he's going to have more attention on him, and it happened throughout the end of the last year, and he's got to be consistent and all that stuff. But they've really added Omari Kelly, a transfer from Middle Tennessee, and Krishawn McCray, and they've a real speedster out of Kent State. They've recognized. I think they're doing the portal pretty well. They've recognized where the receiver is a diva position, right? It's a position where guys you can find them all over at every level. They get overlooked at a certain level, and it's a great portal position. It really is, and I think they've done a nice job. And there's a lot of buzz about those guys, and just so the guys they put around Marsh will make a huge difference. And then the big thing is, you got to go back to 2015, the playoff year, when they actually lost at Nebraska that year. And that was the last time they had a line that could push somebody around. And I don't know where they'll be in that, in terms of really a dominant line, but they have some guys they're high on, some guys who have been good enough in the off season that they had to really pay this spring from an NIL and rev share perspective. They brought in 4 new players up front that I think they're high on. I think that group, if it, and they've got a really good offensive line coach who's pretty proven in Jim Mahalchek. If that comes together at some point, that changes a lot. The program just hasn't had it in forever. Even the year they had Kenneth Walker, they were okay up front. They were, but he was just dynamic, and they had great receivers. And so I think Michigan State fans don't even know what that looks like anymore, like an offensive line that wins. It's just been so long since it's happened consistently. It would happen on a random week. Like last week they beat Iowa. Last year they beat Iowa because on a random week they looked really good up front, and Iowa schemed and, didn't bother them. But yeah, I think that's where it's going to be. And then defensively, they've just got to be. If they're not going to be great, I don't think. So they've got to be opportunistic.
Who leads the way? Is that Snow probably?
Jordan Hall is the linebacker that you hear the most about. Jalen Thompson on the defensive line on the edge, a big guy who can play inside and out. Snow is the guy who will be out there, But I think Jordan Hall is the linebacker you're hearing the most about. Is probably the green dot, the guy that wears the helmet that interacts with the coaches and puts people in place. And, I think he thought that was going to be his year last year as a sophomore. He was good as a true freshman, but they brought in a transfer from Wisconsin who kind of filled that role, and so it's his time. And you're seeing some of the guys, when you look around Mel Tucker, not everything worked in that era, obviously, but he did recruit pretty well in a couple classes, and you're seeing a couple of those classes bear some fruit. The guys who stuck around, and Jordan Hall and Jalen Thompson are two guys who are third-year players who were, part of one of, Tucker's part of Tucker's last class.
Opponent preview with Graham Couch from the Lansing State Journal, talking all things Michigan State. Graham, I think the prevailing, and it was a weird time of the hire, so I think it kind of flew under the radar nationally, but there are a lot of folks that feel like, especially given the time, Jonathan Smith was an amazing hire in terms of what Sparty pulled off. Is that kind of the consensus there with a fan base that is accustomed to having some success with that program? Is there the reverence, maybe too strong of a word, but was there the appreciation of the hire of Jonathan Smith, do you think?
Not at all. And so I think at the first point there was some, like, there are people who are there are some who like it. There was not consensus. Like, there were donors, the Matt Ishbias of the world, who wanted them to go hard after Urban Meyer. They wanted, and he's like, the biggest donor in the world. They've since fired the AD last spring. So that was the guy who hired Jonathan Smith. And then, I think Smith's a really good coach, but there are a lot of people that think, if he has a bad year this year, that he should be gone. Now, that's ridiculous because there are a few reasons for that. One, they would owe him $33 million. And if you have $33 million to spend, which Michigan State does not, but if you had $33 million to spend, you should put it, if you've got a good coach, into your roster.
Right.
And so that would be my advice. The other thing is, where Jonathan Smith didn't, what they really wanted after the last year of Mel Tucker and him being fired, and then Harlan Barnett was there and they were just getting slaughtered at the end, is they really wanted competence throughout. They wanted a year that felt like, and they didn't get that last year. The last 5 games were really, now they were beat up and they were young certain places. They had lots of holes, but when you lose at home 41-14 to Rutgers in the season finale, like, that, people don't leave with a good sense of where things are going. And then the game that hurt them the most last year was the Michigan game, which dictates so much of the mood around here. And it was probably Smith's worst coach game. They had a lead. They had some control of the game and really let it get away. And then there was a skirmish at the end that they kind of complained about. And then when the Big Ten didn't step up and do anything, sort of meekly, waddle away with their tails between their legs. And so, and he didn't, the thing that made D'Antonio beloved before he won big at Michigan State was he flipped the script on that Michigan rivalry. And even before he did that, he met fans where they were. So in 2007, famously, there's the little brother comment from Mike Hart, the running back at Michigan, after they beat him, right? And it's how D'Antonio met that. It was this, how every MSU fan was feeling in that moment. He met them there. You could see it in him. And it was this, it'll never be over. Pride comes before the fall, all the stuff. And then the next year they went to Ann Arbor and beat him. And, that what Jonathan Smith needs more than anything, you got a Michigan program that people around here think cheated. You've got a Michigan program that's won a ton in the last few years, including a national championship 2 years ago. They need to beat Michigan. If he beats Michigan and they get to 6 wins, people will be good. If he meets that moment in that rivalry, and he didn't, both in language and the performance on the field, didn't seem to do it last year. I think it stunned him what that rivalry is. People, I think coming from Oregon State, and the dynamic of Oregon State to Oregon, I think he maybe felt like he had experienced it, and it's different. It's there's a venom that's 365 here, especially on the Michigan State side, that you have to live to really understand how to react to, and because you hear it if you're a coach, from fans and your donors, and your AD constantly. I mean, it is, and I don't think he met that moment last year, and so he's win or lose, he's got to handle that better and how he treats that game.
That's Graham Couch, columnist for the Lansing State Journal, giving us a little Michigan State preview. Graham, we appreciate the time and the expertise. We will catch up with you soon, I'm sure.
Thanks, Graham.
Look forward to it.
You got
Thanks, guys. Take care.
It's Graham Couch from the Lansing State Journal. Good stuff there on Michigan State. I'm a little stunned that they don't appreciate Jonathan Smith a little bit more.
Man,
that's a great hire.
That's a really good coach.
And hiring Urban Meyer would have been an abject disaster.
I don't know if Ishby's got a lot of play money.
I know.
That NIL should be set, shouldn't it?
His decision-making process has also not shown to be incredible.
Oh, I'm 100% with you.
With the Phoenix Suns as well. Your decision-making process can be incredible, though, if you go to the PingleBangChampionship.com. Get your tickets for the championship. It's coming up tomorrow. Get out there, have a good time out at Indian Creek, and maybe come out and see us at Hole 17. It'll be a great time. It's the Pinglebank Championship presented by Woodhouse. Go get your tickets today. We'll be back tomorrow.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.